Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Generation Y Conservative Podcast. I'm glad you could join me tonight. We have a lot of topics to go over tonight. Never fails. As soon as a new week starts, you're like, it can't be that much this week. No, there is.
Rolls in.
Just keeps coming. Yeah. So fresh off the destruction of Hurricane Harvey, the eastern seaboard is now preparing for Hurricane Irma and potentially Hurricane Jose to hit, to which I say, no way, Jose.
No way, Jose.
But did you know that this is all just a ploy by President Trump's administration to engineer hurricanes to wipe out financially prosperous minority neighborhoods like Miami and Houston?
I mean, his superpowers just have no end. Dastardly powers.
Also, we have athlete Dennis Rodman and celebrity Alyssa Milano jumping into the political arena with some of their nuggets of wisdom, while another actress gets on stage and shouts her abortion. A story and tells the audience to a massive applause, by the way, that her first abortion was her best abortion.
Yeah.
Speaking of abortions, Planned Parenthood sends out a painfully ironic tweet in support of the DACA program and illegal immigrants. Very ironic. We'll get to that later. A first-grade elementary teacher sends home a letter to parents informing them that there is some seriously disturbing language being used on school grounds by some students, and the parents should have a talk with their kids about not saying 3 specific words. Is it the F word? Is it the S word?
I think.
Have elementary kids stooped so low as to start using shaming language, like fat-shaming language?
Right.
Well, you actually won't believe the 3 words that these 5 kids, these individuals said that has this elementary school teacher in a tizzy. Oh, you're going to like this. I know you looked through the script, but we have 2 people back in our sites again this week. I Effing Love Science blog is back in my sites with an article that throws the evolution theory up in the air again. You know, no, not out the window. Science is never wrong. They just readjust and recalibrate their theories. This is just adds to the evolution in a new way. But can they answer a simple question about evolution that I have for them? So we'll be throwing that at them as well. And I'll be using scientific facts.
Oh, yeah.
They hate that.
Yeah. They don't like the facts.
It's in their,
they love the theories, but they don't like the facts.
If the facts go along with their line of thinking, then it's okay.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't heard of this story about a Republican mayor, it's honestly one of the coolest stories that we're going to probably go over tonight, because most of the stuff is going to be us laughing a lot at some of this stuff. But it's one of the coolest and best solutions to the homeless problem in this mayor's town. And what he's doing is gaining a lot of attention, but surprisingly enough, I stumbled across this story.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big story, and it's going to be amazing. You're gonna find it fascinating, inspiring, and a lot of other cities are taking notice to what this mayor is actually doing and trying to get more information from him on how to do it themselves. So it's pretty neat. By the way, are you gay? Before you answer that, you may not know if
it's fluid.
Okay, but you may not completely know if you're gay. But I can tell you, there's a new artificial intelligence system that can take a look at your profile picture and tell you with 91% certainty if you are gay. Okay, so we won't test it on air. I don't want to embarrass you. But so 91% accuracy. So we're going to be going over that as well. All that and more coming up. This is the Generation Y Conservative Podcast. Welcome to the Generation Y Conservative Podcast. I'm glad you could join me tonight, where the truth matters more than agenda, or is greater than agenda. More important than agenda. It doesn't matter. Cut! By the way, if you're watching right now, you might be watching me on Facebook Live, which I appreciate. If you happen to be new to the stream, you can always go to the Facebook page of Generation Y Conservative, hit the like button, and also hit the following button after that. Go down to get notifications. You'll be notified when we go live with the podcast, usually Thursday or Friday nights. It can vary, and it all depends on when my guests decide they want to show up, or not at all in his case. By the way, Mike is here with us again. He's back.
Good to be back.
Yeah, sorry, you say that now.
Yeah.
But if you, another very important thing to do is go to the YouTube channel, the Generation Y Conservative. All you have to do is search for that. Actually, all the information is at the bottom of your screen right now, along with the Twitter handle, which is @GenYConservative without the E on the end. You can interact with me there. I have a lot more fun on Twitter. I'm usually a morning tweeter. You know? I get involved with some of the morning shows of some of the fun stuff that I'm listening to on my car ride. Not that I'm texting and driving or tweeting while I'm driving, but I am. It's a long drive. What do you want? And I speak.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly. I talk to myself, which is what else is new. So you can follow me on all those. Certainly, I'm asking you to go and like the page, go and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also on the YouTube channel, you can hit the bell notification and be notified when we actually publish videos, whether that's the podcast or we've also been doing movie reviews this Sunday. Going to see It. Very excited.
Nice.
Are you said you're not down for that?
Oh, I know that Tracy and I want to see it. So
Do you guys want to join us?
It just come down to if we can get it.
Come on. We'll all float. We'll all float down there.
Yeah, my parents watch the kids on Friday night and then Saturday all day. Normally they like.
So you can go see it again with her. You'll be coming out on Sunday.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
okay. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. By the way,
Who's all going?
I have someone that hasn't joined me for anything yet.
Okay.
Actually, a college friend from Philadelphia, and we're working that out right now, and it should be interesting.
Yeah. What time?
I'm guessing like a 9 o'clock.
Oh, like a.
Show.
I might be
10
able
o'clock
to go.
show I may or something like that.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I feel like going that day.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
That's a joke from before the show started.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, we spotlight a charity every month, and I feel it is very necessary and prudent to what's going on right now to spotlight a specific charity, which is Mercury One. Now, Mercury One is based out of the Dallas, Texas area. They are currently sending truckloads of supplies and food, teaming up with multiple different organizations to the Houston area, and they are also gearing up. I believe they have about 15 semi-truckloads in Florida, which Irma hasn't even hit yet, in preparation for the incoming hurricane, which, by the way, if you haven't been following along and watching the news on this, let me give you a good idea of what has happened in Houston. The area of Houston that was affected by the flood, you could fit Massachusetts and Connecticut, and I believe Rhode Island, into that area of the flood zone. That's how massive Texas is, okay? Now, take that size comparison and look at Irma. Hurricane Irma is the size of Texas. And it's moving along. It's going to hit Florida, I believe, either late tonight or early tomorrow. People have been evacuating. That's a mess. It's sometimes it's even more dangerous to evacuate than to get hit by the storm. So just pray for all those people in Miami and all over Florida right now, because even the West Coast. I mean, think about it. The size of Texas, it's gonna clobber Florida, and it's gonna move right up the coastline. Hopefully, it actually curves out as much as possible back into the Atlantic. But it is the biggest Atlantic storm that's ever been on record by meteorologists so far. So. Back to this month's Spotlight charity, Mercury One. The reason why I spotlight Mercury One is I try to do this with as many charities as possible. Sometimes it's not always possible. But I believe that one of the most important things for this charity is the fact that they give 100% of their proceeds to the cause. Okay?
Yep.
And every year they have a gala charity event in which they raise money from outside sources and people donating and everything to pay for all the administrative stuff. Mm-hmm. So everything that you donate, and you can tag it, from what I believe, to be designated towards specific things, whether it's Hurricane Harvey or Hurricane Irma, you can actually do that, and that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
So obviously Houston is dealing with a lot of the storm. I believe there's some areas that are probably still really flooded. Oh, yeah. They're dealing with cleanup right now, mucking out houses and everything.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it's really bad. Mercury One has also teamed up with multiple organizations like Operation Barbecue, Team Rubicon, City Impact, Somebody Cares, Cleaning for the World, and the Provisions Projects, among other things as well. Operation Barbecue, I believe, over the past week has served I believe, over 350,000 meals to people in the Houston area over like the last 7 days. It's pretty crazy. So that's really neat too. I believe they are also starting to get involved in the California, Washington, and Montana and North Dakota fires situation.
Okay.
So, listen, if it's on your heart, I'm not forcing you to do anything. I certainly want you to consider it, but if it's on your heart to volunteer or donate or find out more about what you can do with Mercury One, please visit www.mercury1.org/hurricane-Harvey to find out more about Hurricane Harvey, or just go to mercury1.org and find out where you can donate.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with heartburn like crazy right now for some reason. But listen, we have Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, Jose coming up out of nowhere, right? You have all these wildfires in like 3 states. You had a 8-point-something earthquake off of Mexico today.
Yeah.
And then the Patriots losing. I don't know what's in Revelations completely.
Yeah.
I just got done reading it last year, but I gotta say, stuff's going down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, once again, I have Mike with me tonight. If you are listening later on the audio podcast, which you can also find on iTunes, thanks to KLRN Internet Radio, which re-airs this podcast on Sundays between 3 and 6 p.m. as well. So if you don't tune in for the video live stream or watch it on YouTube later on when I actually publish it with all the effects and everything else, special effects, the lightsabers, the explosions, the Michael Bay things.
Pyro.
Yeah, exactly. Then you can always listen on Sundays as well and tune in then. So let's start the night with the censorship war against the liberal narrative, with YouTube and Twitter this week waging their own political correctness war against 2 users through demonetization and account blocking. So you actually sent me something as well on this, but I had already typed this up and said we were going to be talking about that. So first up, we have the very popular and personally one of my favorite commentators right now, who actually isn't associated with the right at all. He was a liberal.
Still considers himself
He's a homosexual.
liberal.
Yeah, he's a homosexual. And YouTube is blocking him because he had come to this realization that his side was full of crap, and he's going in an independent way. And he rips into the left, he rips into the right, and it's amazing. Like, he has the best commentary because it's actually an open floor for an open discussion, on everything: religion, politics, policies, just the way things work in our society.
Yeah, open discussion.
Yeah, and it's nothing. If you were to say Dave Rubin is offensive, I would stare at you blankly because I would have no idea what you're talking about, right? But Rubin tweeted on Wednesday, YouTube has demonetized almost his entire back catalog of videos, which means that they no longer allow advertisements on his videos. For those of us who are YouTube creators, what happens is when you publish a video, you have the option to hit monetize on that, and YouTube will actually throw advertisements onto the video, and you make a small percentage for however many views you actually get. Obviously, I'm nowhere near the amount of viewership that Dave Rubin has, but that was a big source of income for him, because he has such a large viewership base, as well as his Patreon platform and his subscribers as well, and the patrons that he has and everything. I believe he in that video that you sent me with what was his name?
Phil DeFranco.
Phil DeFranco, that he was talking about how. Was it his one, or he started taking patrons to fill in for what YouTube was neglecting.
Yeah, they're looking for other ways. Like, that's one of the things Phil DeFranco was saying too, was that it's not really fair what's happening with YouTube, but you kind of have to adapt. So Patreon is a much bigger thing now, and then DeFranco also started his own kind of company called DeFranco Elite, which he's starting his own, shows, and even if he moves off of YouTube for whatever reason, but they have to adapt because what YouTube is doing and Google, by proxy is just anything that they deem controversial or pretty much just if they just decide. Like,
it goes against their narrative. That's what it has become.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they just, and it's, it's ruining like these people that have relied on YouTube as a job for so long.
Now, don't get me wrong. Before we even go on with what happened with Ruben here and the activist mommy, what happened with her on Twitter, I can also easily take the other end of the argument, which is these are private companies. They can do whatever they want with it, but don't be hypocrites. That's, if you're going to stand there as a company like Google did with the Google manifesto that came out on them and say that they are a diverse company, then prove it. Don't go and block voices of dissent, of which the majority of them aren't even offensive. You know what I mean? I mean, it's become ridiculous to the point where Dave Rubin is being called crazy. Offensive and harmful language.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at Dave Rubin, Philip DeFranco, I think, is a lot like Dave Rubin in his show, where it's not so much a leftist or a rightist, but like Ben Shapiro is someone we like a lot too.
Right.
He's clearly on the right, but very smart and but these are guys. I mean, you're now demonetizing people that are having non-biased. Like, how could you do that, Non-biased shows that are listening to ideas, giving points of view, discussing them in a abrasive way. Like, why are those kinds of shows being demonetized? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Rubin actually spoke with multiple Google representatives, which is the parent company for YouTube, in case you didn't know, and asked that a representative appear on the program to explain their position, and the company actually refused to do so.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
So he's just one of many. Obviously, Milo Yiannopoulos was kicked off of Twitter a long time ago.
Oh yeah, the whole Ghostbusters and Leslie Jones.
Was that what the final straw?
Yeah.
Because I think he was kicked off multiple times temporarily before that. Now that's a good example of I can see how that is his verbiage is considered offensive.
Yeah.
But again, free speech.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He that's all there is to it.
Also, with him, it didn't really stem exactly from what he said. It's then what his followers kind of then really attack. So then at what point are you making the creator responsible for what other people do?
Yep,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. So next up, we actually have the ever-growing in popularity user named Activist Mommy. She's been popping up a lot lately with some of the things, whose account was blocked on Twitter in August for tweeting a response to the digital editor at Teen Vogue, who approved their article called The Anal Sex Guide. We actually talked about this in the podcast, which was obviously aimed at teenage readers. So the Activist Mommy's tweet actually read, "Congrats, Philip," who's the editor. "A sodomite mag just awarded you for teaching kids sodomy. Way to recruit there at the Advocate Mag. Hashtag pull Teen Vogue." So Elizabeth received a message from Twitter informing her that they had determined her tweet had violated their rules and demanded that she delete the tweet before being allowed to use her account again. So it was actually a temporary ban on this, and I think she held off for a while. And then she probably did delete it so she could get back onto Twitter, which is kind of like strong-arming. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like twisting the arm behind the back. Delete it now or I'm not going to let you do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, we're going to censor you now for this one thing, or we'll censor you forever.
Yeah, exactly.
You choose.
Yeah, we're giving you the choice.
Yeah.
Like, there's a huge choice there.
Pick your own adventure.
So, except in regards to Google and Twitter, for a conservative, it's like turn 2 pages and you're done. End of story. Princess isn't saved. You can't find her in any castle. So just like Dave Rubin, Google has denied the Activist Mommy, or in this case, Twitter has denied the Activist Mommy for access to the... Oh, no, it is Google. Google has denied the Activist Mommy for access to the advertising platform AdSense, and YouTube has denied the Activist Mommy monetization on YouTube despite having no community guideline strikes against her in the system. So... If you don't upload to Twitter or YouTube and you aren't familiar with the back-end system and everything that we use, there are guidelines, and it's like a happy face system on how many times you've gone against their rules and regulations and what happens there. And hers is completely over at the smiley face. She hasn't broken any rules or guidelines or anything, and they still will not allow her. It is a blocked for monetization. They do not allow her to actually make money on that at all.
That's crazy.
Just trying to see here. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so anything else to say on this at all?
I mean, it's the left run amok. You know, like the targeting that they do to ruin like people's livelihoods just because they disagree on their political viewpoints or whatever is just.
It's funny you say that. Because it's not my topics for tonight, but I actually posted after I wrote the script. I came across a video, and it's not in English. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't see that one yet.
It's
been watching the rumor.
It's a European country that I don't know where he's from. I don't know what language it is because I'm ignorant to it.
Stupid American.
Yeah. Why are they speaking English?
Yeah.
But
speak American.
Yeah, speak American.
Talk American, damn it.
But so this guy is on his own show now, and he's actually taking. He's finding internet trolls that have ruined people's lives and finding them in person, putting them on camera like ambush style, and reading their tweets and stuff to them in front of the camera and saying, "What was this all about?" Yeah, like I love it. Yeah, because the whole thing about being an internet troll is these people get away with everything. Yeah, the anonymity. They are cowards that hide behind screens like the Antifa hides behind their masks.
Do you ever see the South Park episodes?
No.
With it's I think it's Stan's dad becomes the biggest internet troll like ever, and when he starts getting confronted, he's like, "No, this is just the internet. I you gotta leave me alone." It's really funny. It's like a 4 or 5 episode all run. Oh, jeez. This whole story. It's hilarious.
So let's talk science. So 2 of our favorite science targets are back on my list. First up, we have the blog I Effing Love Science with new evidence in the evolutionary theory. You look like you were about to jump in on that.
No.
Or you're just sighing.
Yeah. It's, so do we have a week where we're not talking about them? Or?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. I like punishing myself. It's like being an Eagles fan. I'm a glutton for punishment all the time. So the headline actually reads, 5.7 million-year-old hominin footprints challenge human evolutionary timeline. The article states, published in the journal Proceedings of the Geologists Association, the researchers argue that despite lacking any other fossil bones, the footprints that they found indicate that bipedal apes with hominin features were clearly present in Europe some 5.7 million years ago. This assertion is likely to be heavily picked apart by their other anthropologists, not least because 4.4 million years ago, the oldest hominin known from a fairly complete fossil, Tripithecus ramidus, was, I nailed it that time. I didn't even ask you for it, was still walking on ape-like feet in Ethiopia. Per Alberg, I think I got that right, co-author of the latest paper, said that this discovery challenges the established narrative of early human evolution head-on and is likely to generate a lot of debate. As more and more finds are made, the history of us gets more and more complicated. Rather than just a nice, simple evolutionary line from ape to human, the picture that emerges is one of a dense thicket of species that form a convoluted and confusing image of our past. This latest study simply adds to that tangle, and as newer finds are made, hopefully more sense will be able to be made out of it. So before we actually broke in through the intro and everything, I said that I have a question, a simple question. Yeah, I have a list of questions or comments I can make to the evolutionary timeline and everything, but this is one that I think is the most prominent when you're talking about evolution itself. Yeah. Right? There's a lot of cases to be made for creationism as a whole. But this one deals with evolution and DNA, which is in order for evolution to exist, you have to move through a scale of growth, right? Which is when you're looking at DNA information, in order to get that type of growth and evolution from one species basically to another, or a progression. You have to add information to the DNA. There has to be more DNA information building upon each other to create an evolutionary timeline. Okay? Yeah. So here's my question for evolutionists. Some of the strongest evidence against the evolutionary theory is a complete lack of evidence supporting the addition of DNA information to any living organism. When you actually look at the DNA makeup of species, you are able to see adaptations to environments and genetic mutations in DNA strands that lead to things like dogs with short legs, short snouts, and other things. But both genetic mutations and adapting to environments, like species of fish that have adapted to dark caves with no sight, and even in cases where certain species have died out due to environment, like dogs with short hair not surviving in Arctic conditions, like those with the long hair, are all evidence of DNA loss of information. At no point in time has science ever pointed to a solid case of fact that has shown something increasing in DNA information, which is the foundation of the idea of evolution. So which theory sounds more asinine? Evolution, or a creator, especially when you look deeper and deeper into the microscopic nature of every single detail of the makeup of every human being, what makes us all different, and the makeup of everything else. How complicated is it all to just believe that it happened to all come together so perfectly? I will stick with creationism and a grand architect, because I never saw a house magically appear on my block where a shed used to be because nature helped it evolve. Yeah. That's all there is to it. So that's my question. If you happen to be for evolution, point me to specific cases where it has been proven that DNA information was added, that you saw that jump for additional DNA. Same DNA, additional DNA.
Yep.
Not this, well, there's a million years or so between this hominin that we found back in 4 million years ago, and then there was this monkey that we found in the mud somewhere. Please. You know, I mean, like, if there was that much evidence for it, it would be all over the place. Yeah. Not these special little cases here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not surprised that there aren't more instances of a new discovery kind of throwing a monkey wrench into whatever it's the pre-existing theory of whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I'm surprised this doesn't happen all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And as far as, where you land on evolution versus creation, I personally haven't done, like, a lot of the scientific research on the evolution side. I always kind of just from what I've always thought.
Yeah.
With no research, so it's probably all just stupid.
So
anyway.
Very educated.
Yeah, very educated here. But I always just kind of thought it was a mix. You know what I mean? Like, even if things were evolving and changing, everything's happening is so perfectly. You know, like, where did that start to begin with? You know. So I kind of always looked at a person of faith's view of science, you know, and kind of instead of things being one way or the other way, that there's a great possibility of where they're more intertwined than just being exclusive to each other, you know.
My whole thing has always been the fact that the more and more that we have the ability to look smaller and smaller with microscopes, and further out with telescopes, that especially when you're looking microscopically at the makeup of things, and then you see the makeup of that makeup, like, we keep on getting further and further down, like, it's perfectly designed. And you can't have just like, whoa, lightning hitting mud or crystals or whatever the hell people believe, besides the evolutionary theory and everything, which that had to start, I think, whatever. But you can't, it's not like a magic formula that suddenly, hey, this happened and everything was just perfect, you know? And the further and further that you look out into the galaxy and see the enormity of everything and how everything orbits perfectly to not cause, like, catastrophic disaster. Like, all the things that come together for Earth to be perfectly inhabitable by us and every other species here. Like, all it takes is 1 degree off from our orbit and we're toast. You know what I mean?
Sure. So it's all the distance that we are from the sun, the type of sun that we have. You know, when they're looking for other Earth-like planets, they're looking for, first, stars that are similar to ours. the similar around the same age, and then they're looking at planets the same distance out.
Yep.
Because that's where that sweet spot is. Anything too close is too hot, and too far away is too cold. So it is like crazy, just to think about. And then the fact too that we have these galaxies that are just all over the place, like infinitely. It's like And
then we have the multiverse, and we won't even get into that. Right? So it's just crazy. Barry Allen just goes and screws things up all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Bill Nye, the wannabe science guy, is also back in the news because the public so easily confuses all fields of scientific study with each other. Apparently, someone thought it would be a good idea to talk to the engineer, which he is, about climatology and the effects of global warming on hurricanes like that of Harvey in Houston, Texas. Now, before I go on, I just realized I made a typo.
Okay.
Because why wouldn't you talk to an engineer about hurricanes if the Trump administration is engineering hurricanes to happen?
Yeah, they're being engineered, so let's talk to an engineer.
Maybe let's skip this. So, according to the Daily Wire, while speaking with Dan Rather on SiriusXM, Bill Nye argued that the hurricanes the U.S. is experiencing have been strengthened by global warming. Nye said, well, it's the strength that is almost certainly associated with global warming. Now, everybody, global warming and climate change are the same thing. The world gets warmer and there's more energy in the atmosphere. You expect storms to get stronger. You also expect ocean currents to not flow the way they always have. And that will make some places cooler and some places warmer. So fortunately for us, because we can argue him all we want, we're not even engineers. But PhD meteorologist Ryan Mao, fed up with Bill Nye, issued a reply to point out a flaw in Nye's analysis, stating, Bill Nye confuses the oceans with the atmosphere. #fake science.
That's great.
So, I don't know. Okay. Even the Washington Examiner noted that after Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans in 2005, some climate modelers predicted such storms would be more frequent in a warmer world, while others predicted the opposite. And still others said that there was no connection between warming and hurricanes. And what actually ensued was a historically unprecedented 12-year absence of major, which is Category 3 or higher, hurricanes making landfall in the United States until Harvey, which ties for 14th most intense hurricane since 1851. That's pretty interesting, actually. Yeah. So I would have thought it would have been within the top 3.
Yeah.
But it's 14th. The events after 2005 were consistent with some projections, but any other events would have been as well. So what they're saying here is the fact that it had nothing to do with it. Even Al Gore, Al Gore said I believe it was, Katrina hit in 2005. I believe his movie came out the year before. Yeah. 2004 or 2006.
Yeah. I think it was 2006 because wasn't it 10 years, 2016, and we were all supposed to be underwater?
Yes. Yeah. So he did it the next year if Katrina, was in 2005. Mm-hmm. So he said that the Katrina incident would be more frequent because of global warming and everything. Mm-hmm. And what a kick to the teeth. It actually was a 12-year period of less than Category 3 strength hurricanes for 12 straight years.
Yeah.
Right? And then we hit this. Now, here's something else that's not being talked about. The business I'm in right now is finding hail damage to homes. Okay? Mm-hmm. We knew in our industry that the last 2 years or 2 seasons, I'm not sure exactly what it was, and I could get it backwards, I'm not really sure, was an El Nino followed by a La Nina. Okay. Yeah. It was one way or the other. I'm not really sure which one it is. But historically, if you look over the last 20, 30 years or something like that, when that happens, we expect there to be significant hailstorms, right? Yeah. That just happened this last winter. Was those 2 things followed by each other? Mm-hmm. So we knew this year was going to be good for hail, and it has been. Okay. Yeah. No one's bringing that up with these hurricanes. Yeah. Because we've gone on a 12-year hiatus of hurricanes now, and suddenly we have those back to back and these really strong hurricanes. I actually would like to hear if a meteorologist or something has something to say about that significance playing into these hurricanes with the ocean temperatures and everything else like that. But interesting nonetheless. And Bill Nye, the now wannabe climatologist guy, was taken to task by a meteorologist. Thank God.
Hashtag fake science.
Hashtag shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up, Nye. So, okay, so this next topic really got to me.
Okay.
And some of my followers and friends and everything. So while we're on the topic of education, or at least uneducated opinions fighting in the arena of thought, we can actually take a look at an elementary school teacher in first grade who teaches first grade. She's not in first grade. Yeah. That would be a whole other story.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with sexual relations with students, thank God.
Yeah.
Who sent a letter home to warn students about disturbing language that she was hearing in her classroom. So right before the break, we were talking about this, and we were talking about what could this be? What could kids possibly be saying in first grade that would be so offensive?
Yeah.
Curse words like the F word, the S word, possibly the C word.
Oh, man.
Fat shaming each other or something like that.
Name calling, bullying.
Yeah, it's cyberbullying on Facebook in first grade.
First grade, yeah.
Maybe it was like Thomas a Train Facebook type stuff, play school book or something. No, there's 3 words that 5 students were bringing up multiple times, and those were God, Jesus, and devil. And she wrote home about this because there were multiple conversations, and she felt very uncomfortable with this. Yeah. So the letter actually reads, I have a group of about 5 students using the words God, Jesus, and devil in conversation. The first time I had to talk about it with them, unfortunately on a different day, the conversation came up again. With McCordsville Elementary being a public school, we have many different religions and beliefs, and I do not want to upset a child or parent because of these words being used. If you go to church or discuss these things at home, please have a talk with your child about there being an appropriate time and place of talking about it. Any questions or concerns, please feel free to email me. Thank you. So, like I said on the Facebook post that I originally put on this, of all the things that these kids could have been talking about that were offensive, this is the battle that this teacher chooses to have. Yeah. These kids having their own individual discussion about religion, right? Had it been Allah, Muhammad, and Sharia law, I don't think we would have been hearing about this because she probably would have been afraid to write that letter.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So I just find it fascinating. The superintendent, actually, Shane Robbins, said that the district is addressing the note with the teacher. In this situation, he said, we want to be sympathetic to all our students with diverse backgrounds, but at the end of the day, they have the freedom to say things as long as it's not disruptive to the environment. So he kind of, that statement right there veers off to me. Right? They have the freedom to say things as long as it's not disruptive to the environment. Well, who's the judge of that? Yeah. You know? I don't know the situation in which these kids were bringing up conversation because she caught them. Yeah. So it wasn't like they were raising their hand and intervening and interjecting this type of stuff into a conversation in the classroom. Seems more of like playground talk where these kids happen to be maybe a little bit more intelligent than their peers on the playground. They happen to be talking about religion somehow. Yeah. And instead of like, I was going to say Bobby's World, but that's our freaking day. Showing the age here. Bobby's World. Oh, man. But Rocco's Modern Life? Yeah. No? Yeah. No? Dora? I don't know what it is. Like, I should know.
What is PJ Masks, you know?
Wow, I haven't heard that, yeah. Oh, yeah. But, you know, of the things I talked about as an elementary school kid, wasn't educated like that. Yeah. And maybe it was an educated talk. Yeah. But at least it's a discussion that they're allowed to have. Yep. And there was nothing in this in regards to these kids offending each other or other people. It seemed to be like they were having their own discussion. The teacher overheard it, and she found it offensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Not anything else.
One thing I noticed from her letter was it lacked the context of their conversation. So we have no idea what they were talking about. But one thing I think was in there was that it was the same kids and multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, right. So, but yeah, could they have been saying, bad things about God, Jesus, and the devil, or maybe it was some kids that didn't believe were trying to tell kids that do believe that it's not real, and they're arguing or what. We have no idea what they're talking about, right?
God forbid we open people's minds and have a discussion where you are presented with something different than what your worldview is.
Yeah, so, but yeah, it's... it's the over mind policing, and it's starting at first grade now.
Yeah. To be honest with you, listen, it's a tough situation on the teacher's end when you hear about teachers that push certain religions, right? Mm-hmm. I believe that certain values of religions come out in people. Yeah. Like if you're a Christian teacher, it probably shows. Yeah, right, yeah. In your actions and words and everything. A lot of people have been getting upset in the public education arena, people talking about the pillars of Islam and stuff like that. Yeah. And I can see both sides of that argument, actually. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be teaching that, you better be teaching the other religion views and pillars or whatever, like the bases of those foundations for those religions and everything. Yeah, and there should, and as long as you're not pushing a singularity and
or the
ideology,
the other ones, it's kind of like teaching Greek mythology, and those religions that were believed at the time. If it's if it's as an educational tool as this is what's out in the world, that's one thing. But if you're steering them towards something, then especially in public schools, I don't think that should be. Tolerated.
The school board policy actually states that because they are a public school, the district cannot advance or inhibit any religious observances.
Yeah, so here she's inhibiting, by telling them not to, sending a letter home.
And, it is what it is. I mean, I think this teacher is completely in the wrong, and I think it's spotlighting her agenda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it was any other religion, I mean, even Judaism, I don't think there would have been a problem, honestly. Yeah. There is an outward attack on Christianity right now, and I think we've talked about this in the past, which is Christianity is an easy target because Christians debate their positions out of love. Yeah. Not like, hey, don't disrespect Jesus because I'm going to chop your head off.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Then, okay, we're not going to talk about that. It's oh, come on. I'm trying to show you love here, and Christ is trying to show you love. Oh, yeah? I'm going to press you down and just hold you down. And, Christianity is the obvious target right now in America. So it's just ridiculous. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about abortions, Planned Parenthood, and a ridiculous celebrity embracing abortions, and also a fantastic alternative to these situations that needs your help right now. According to The Blaze, actress and outspoken abortion advocate Martha Plimpton of the Goonies.
Yeah, because you probably don't know who Martha Plimpton is.
Exactly, that's all I know her from.
Yeah, we're using the term celebrity very loosely here.
One-hit wonder from the 80s. Yeah. Proudly told a Seattle audience that she got her first abortion at age 19 from a Seattle Planned Parenthood, and that it was her best abortion. I'm going to keep on using quotations.
Yeah. She could Yelp review it.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what we're getting to. Yeah. So she said, Seattle has some particular significance for me for lots of reasons. This is what Plimpton told the hashtag Shout Your Abortion audience gathered at the city's town hall. She said, I've got a lot of family here, some of whom are here in the audience tonight. I also had my first abortion here at the Seattle Planned Parenthood. Notice I said first. And I don't want Seattle. I don't want you guys to feel insecure. It was my best one. Heads and tails above the rest. If I could Yelp review it, I totally would. And if the doctor's here tonight, I don't remember you at all. I was 19, but I thank you nonetheless. So we've gone into this arena, and this isn't anything new because hashtag Shout Your Abortion has actually been something that I think we've brought up in the past. Mm-hmm. It's just like gathering of people that not only defend abortions, but proudly proclaim.
They celebrate them.
They celebrate them. That's the best word to use for it and everything. And she just quadruple downs on what she's done. We don't know how many abortions she's had. It's more than one. By her own admission here, that the first one was her best one. She talks about giving it a Yelp review of heads above tails above the rest and everything, which, let's be honest here, this speech that she gave was to get attention because she's a nobody anymore. You remember from the Goonies, that's it. And she wasn't even a good character on the Goonies. No. And then you also have...
She was the hot girl's ugly friend.
Yeah. That's the best way of putting it. Yeah. How you want to go down a negative road with her, right?
Oh, I will.
Yeah, that's fine. You're my guest. I'll let you do it. But, okay, so you have her trying to get attention and be in the spotlight again. I think that's pretty obvious with what she's saying here, right? You also have the fact that... we have a category of our society that has gone down this path of, okay, listen, we have advocates in the opposite direction, pro-life people that are coming out hard and swinging. The Trump administration almost defunded Planned Parenthood, wasn't able to do it because I don't think he really had his heart into it.
Yeah,
that's just my personal opinion. But they know that with the upcoming generation is more conservative and seeing things like sex and abortions and other things very differently than their parents' generation or their older siblings' generation now. And I think that the left is realizing that, and this particular subcategory of the left is realizing that they need to up their game even more and just be outrageous with what they're saying to try and gain that kind of attention.
Yeah, to make this okay. Like to make it appeal to younger people is like, this is not a bad thing. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Look, in the past, the people that got abortions, they may have been pro-choice, but there was a shame factor to it, right?
Yeah.
And that, first of all, there should be.
Yeah.
But in their minds, I kind of feel like the older generations were like, yeah, I am a little bit shameful of it and everything. I support it, but I'm going to keep it in the closet and not like go on the roof and freaking shout.
Yeah,
I mean?
Some people that I've met that have gone through that, it's not something that they are proud of,
right? Or
that they, it's something that even they still struggle with, throughout their lives. It was a hard, the whole getting into that situation where this even becomes an option. I mean, obviously they're in a hard place. It's a hard decision. It's a hard procedure, and then it's a hard life afterwards, living with what could have been or and things like that. And
those exact things are what changed me into how pro-life I am, which is I've talked about in the past. A girl I was interested in college said that she regretted it and that she lives with mental anguish, at least at that time, on where would this kid be today? What would they be like? What would I be as a parent? And it's out the window because you will never know.
And I also think that it's become such a women's issue,
right? That
the men are kind of forgotten. And the only reason, and I'm not trying to turn this into a men's issue, but I had a girlfriend whose father, told me a story once of a girl that he dated, back in the day, and she got pregnant. She had an abortion, and this was like 20, 30 years later. He has struggled, like his life has been affected by that, and like that, it's something that he never got over. Yeah, well, I don't exactly remember. This was back in high school, so I don't remember if he had a say or if he supported the decision but then regretted it. But it was something like he did not. It's something that was always bothering him for the rest of his life. So
you actually bring up a great point, and it's actually something I almost wrote on Facebook as a post, which is this idea that you have to be blank to discuss blank.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to be. You can't talk about abortion if you're a male.
Yeah.
You can't talk about racial issues if you're white.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when people talk about this white male privilege that's out there, white male privilege gets you everything but an opinion on situations.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Because you can't, if you're a white male, you can't talk about any other issues that deal with anything else. Because unless it deals with, their ideological view of what we apparently live, which is just, making money rain and living on yachts or something like that.
Right.
Like we don't ever deal with any of our own problems or something. You are granted everything as a white male except an opinion on anything else that doesn't deal with what you exactly are.
Yep. Yeah, and I his story always kind of stuck with me of how this isn't just solely a women's issue.
Right. Yeah. It takes two to tango.
It's my body, and but hey, in order for a pregnancy to occur, part of his body
Please, do you want me to pull up the PowerPoint?
Part of his body has to enter your body, and then something has to be left behind from him too.
Please,
it's
do go into detail.
So there's the birds and bees kids,
which I never understood because birds and bees, I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like a stinger.
That would be horrifying. Now I'm thinking Hitchcock. The birds with stingers, not a good situation.
Nope, not at all.
So while this woman was on stage, what's her, Plimpton? This is a horrible name, too. Dr. Willie Parker, a self-proclaimed... This is bad. This is I find disturbing. Dr. Willie Parker, a self-proclaimed Christian and well-known abortion provider and advocate, joined the actress on stage with equally horrifying statements. He said, "The mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open," referring to the thinking process of pro-life folks. He added that a fetus is not a person and that if you really believe that abortion is murder, call 911 and see if the police will come to an abortion clinic. Well, just because he makes something legal doesn't mean it's not wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's in the wrong with his statement there. Parker later told the crowd that I've never killed a baby, I've ended pregnancies, but I've never killed a baby.
Yeah, rationalize it however you want.
You have to do some mental gymnastics to reach that point where you believe... Okay, let's go down his path here for a second. Dr. Willie Parker.
Dr. Willie.
So, Dr. Parker, you have ended a pregnancy. What exactly about that pregnancy have you ended?
The life that would have been.
Life of what?
Of
a giraffe?
Yeah.
Was it a donkey?
Yeah. No, just a mass of cells.
So it would have been a bigger, massive, lumpy cells.
Yeah. If I did not perform this abortion, the result would have been just a goop of cells.
Yeah, and that's that's the mentality. That's the type of talk that they actually have in schools. I remember sitting in school. Now, you can actually see. I have a video on YouTube called Hot Topic Abortion, in which I did a short video on abortion and my views on it and everything, where I actually talk about my progression from being in high school, being pro-choice just because I didn't understand what was going on or really care or have a vested interest in anything, to being against abortion except in the cases of rape and incest, to finding out that down a long line of descendants, I am actually the product of a rape from my grandfather, who was a product of a rape, right? And realizing that 26 of us wouldn't be alive today if he had been aborted, right? To being staunchly pro-life. So that progression was there, right? And I remember specifically being in high school biology classes and other classes in high school where they would make that argument of it's just a lump of cells. Right? And I remember sitting there thinking, is there a possibility that not that I'm this stupid, like I'm questioning their reasoning. Is there a possibility that this could be a giraffe or an elephant? Like, what do you think is the mathematical statistical percentage here that this could end up anything but a human baby?
Yeah.
What is it?
Plus, what does that even mean anyway? I mean, me sitting here right now, am I not a lump of cells?
Seriously.
Does the shape matter? Like, what? I don't get it. So
it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Yeah, in the wake of the recent announcement by the Trump administration that they were ending the DACA program, which actually stands for the Deferred Action of Childhood Arrivals. Do you know what that's about?
Yeah, it's the dreamer, or it's the kids that are basically brought here without, they're not the
Or
ones
born
making
here,
the decision.
right?
Yeah, they're not the ones making the decision to come here illegally. They're just brought along.
In a more crude sense, it's also referred to as anchor babies.
Yeah, yep.
You know, so essentially
Parents using the kids
to get citizenship, right?
Yeah.
So once a child is here or born here or something like that, it's assumed through the Dreamer Act that the parents get automatic citizenship, because how do you send parents back to their country when the kid's a citizen and the kid's not the citizen of the original country? So they would stay there. You can't separate families, all this other kind of stuff. So that's essentially what's going on. Planned Parenthood actually sent out what can only be described as a sickly, ironic tweet that read, "Show up to #defend DACA tomorrow. DACA works. It would be heartless and cruel to dash documented people's futures." So it's okay for Planned Parenthood to end the futures of babies. Not okay for our country to not kill, but account for and possibly deport those that are living here illegally. So I want to make one thing very clear, though, before we go on with this. I'm not saying that I necessarily support or not support the DACA program, but it's certainly not killing the children of these immigrants and ending their future, which is exactly what Planned Parenthood actually does.
Yeah.
Right? Do you want to say anything about that?
Well, in regards to obviously the tweet itself is like super ironic, and they don't even see their own hypocrisy. But in regards to DACA and that whole situation, and you can't separate families. So what do you do? So that's the thing that when it comes to immigration, and we're kind of like splitting off a little.
No, I want to have this discussion.
Yeah, but I feel like first priority is preventing this from happening further.
Yeah.
Securing the border, stopping the bleeding,
You got to build the wall.
Build the wall, baby. Build the wall, But however we do it.
And Bernie singing "This land is your land, this land is my land." Can you do that one for me?
Oh, God. Don't make me sick right now. It's been a long day. But,
I thought you would jump at the opportunity to do a Bernie impression.
Listen. We all know whose land this is. But stopping the bleeding.
I'm saying it's my land.
Yeah. But we have to secure things and just and then from there deal with what's left over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, listen, it's a conversation I actually had at my daughter's soccer game last night, because politics follows me around.
Yeah.
It's actually a friend of mine that, a neighborhood friend that around here that we always talk about politics, and his son's in soccer with us. But we were talking about this very thing. His wife immigrated here from Peru, right? And she did it the legal way. Mm-hmm. And it took years to do this. So the question is, the discussion that we need to be having in regards to these families that are here illegally, right? First of all, we're not going to be able to take a net and go across the country and scoop out all the people that are here illegally and just throw them out, right? It's impossible to do that.
Yeah.
So realistically, when you look at the situation, what exactly can we do with who's here? The biggest problem that people have on the right and on the left, and let's be honest about this, there are many people on the left that have problems with people that are illegally here as well.
Yep.
And a lot of those people, surprisingly enough, are people that have immigrated here through the legal means.
Yeah, of course.
Okay? Because they're pissed off that they took years in the process to go through this, and other people are just jumping into the country and bypassing the system.
Yep.
Right? So you have all these people that are pissed off at the circumstances under which these people have gotten into the country and are taking advantage of the American system. Now, the basis of that argument there, especially from people like us, I would imagine, is that these people are taking advantage of the American system when in actuality, had they been documented at all in the past, they would be paying taxes into the system that would at least help support the overall economic foundation of our country, right? It's not that we don't want them here. It's that we want to know that they're here and providing and contributing
Doing their
to
part.
the society,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, if suddenly they're all documented and paying into the system isn't going to collapse because they've been here, they've been partaking in everything that's going on anyway. So to have this like mental swing either way on collapsing the system, as some people on the right believe, or on the left believing that everything's going to fall apart because you don't realize how many illegal people we have working, that if they just all up and left, like corporations would tumble. You're so far off the mark on both directions. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of immigrants that are in this country actually came here for the American dream, which I believe doesn't exactly exist anymore. And to do that, they do that to provide for their families, typically that are still in their own countries that they came from. So if you think about it this way, a lot of people send money back to their families in other countries because an American dollar still goes a hell of a lot further in these third world countries than whatever their currency will do for them. Like, you send $1 to that country, you're probably feeding someone for a week. You know what I mean? So if you think about the fact that we have a definite 10 to 12 million illegal immigrants here in this country, figure is most likely actually around 20 to 25 million illegal immigrants in this country. If you think of the fact that, let's say half. So let's split that down the middle and say about 12.5 million are sending $1 a week home to their families in other countries. That's $12.5 million leaving our American economy every single week. Do you think it's half the people that are doing that? Or more? More. And do you think it's only $1 that they're sending?
No.
So imagine how much money is actually leaving the American economy to go to these other countries to support these other families. And listen, look, if I was in their situation, in their shoes, I would want to support my family back home too.
All for supporting. We're not saying we're against supporting families.
Yeah, absolutely. But the fact of the matter is, let's get them documented. So what is the process that we can go through? We're off the abortion topic now, but we're going to swing back to it. But I think this is a very important discussion. So I was discussing this with my neighborhood friend here on what we can actually do. Because, again, I said his wife immigrated from Peru, went through the process legally. She's one of the people that's pissed off at how this stuff is going on. So I had brought up the fact, and I think this is a very, very popular thought in the conservative arena, at least, on how to approach this is open up the gates to allow a faster express citizenship somehow, and get these people documented, right?
Yeah, and the legal system is pretty convoluted, and it takes way too long, and it's so that's part of the problem. Yeah,
but I think there should be a fast track, and I think that fast track should be military service, not mandatory for these people, but I think if you put your life on the line to serve this country and the American people, you should be granted citizenship at the end of a certain number of years of service. Right?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And, it takes care of the underwhelming military presence that we might struggle with now and then. It also takes care of the people that want to become citizens and believe that that's a good way of doing it. But news, if you look at statistics of countries and everything, Poland, right, has shut themselves off to refugees from these Muslim countries and everything. They're not allowing them in. And guess which is the only country in Europe right now that has not had a terrorist attack?
Poland.
A lot of people like to think that we actually are being racist to Hispanics by building the wall and everything, but it's actually immigration as a whole, right? I mean, the two brothers that did the Boston bombing were from like Russia, Ukraine area, and everything. So it's an overall problem all over the place. I went on a rant, but
I mean, it's the being the son of two immigrants. You know, it's incredibly frustrating for people that go through the legal system to then watch other people just jump the line. And, the fact that they have to cross an imaginary line in the sand as opposed to an ocean makes it, so much easier, and they don't have to jump through the same hoops. And it's not like this is all just like, European, well-established. There's people from like the refugees from Eastern Europe that it's not necessarily Middle Eastern countries, but they're getting away. They're trying to, provide a better life for their families, but they still got to go through the system and everything. And it's just not fair.
In most cases, it's not even like, I think the mental image for people, especially on the left, when you're going through the immigrant process, is like you get to the border, you sign something, and then you have to go back and wait for your citizenship to come through. In most cases, you get a visa, you live and work here while you're waiting for that to come through. So you're in America doing the American things. Waiting for the process to go through.
I remember my grandparents when they got their citizenship. I have a cousin who's been here for years and finally got his citizenship a couple of, maybe a year or two ago. So you're still... What's that?
We won't hunt him down.
No. Yeah, I mean, he was here legally. He was going through the system, that's how long it took, So it's not, it's totally convoluted and
I honestly think there's a lot of people out there on both sides that don't understand the process and what actually goes into it. And I really do believe that the left that argues against a border fence and everything, they believe that they're just being held in their countries until citizenship comes through. I think that's the mental image that they have.
Yeah.
But I think something does need to be done.
Sure.
Because 15 to 25 million people undocumented in this country that could be contributing to the economic system when they technically really already are. And that's actually a slave situation, really, when you think about it. There's a lot of illegal immigrants here that are getting paid under the table because it's the only way that they can get paid. And they're not making the minimum wage or anything either.
Yeah.
They're getting paid way under minimum wage because they don't have any other choice. And in a lot of cases, some of those employers threaten them, turning them in if they ask for anything more than that. It's a modern type of slavery. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
and we're promoting that by not doing anything about it.
Exactly. And the thing that's really frustrating about this too is that someone who does want to secure the borders and wants to do something about the illegal and undocumented immigrants that are here, they're labeled like bigots and racist, and it's like, no, there's a difference between being anti-immigrant and anti-illegal immigrant. I'm not anti-immigrant. My parents were immigrants. I'm all for.
Same with my grandparents.
I understand that this country was built by immigrants. And but being against people, going against the system does not mean that we hate everyone that's not from America.
Yeah, except the immigrants destroyed the Native Americans, bastards.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Look, the foundational argument is still true. It's very basic. If you're here illegally, you're already breaking laws.
Yeah.
So
I always think it's kind of funny when they're like, "We just want to get rid of the criminals."
Yeah.
Technically, they're all criminals. I mean, at what point do we start to differentiate what crimes are okay and what crimes aren't? So illegal immigrants are, one, they're here illegally, so that's breaking the law. Two, they're breaking all kinds of financial laws by working under the table, not paying taxes or anything like that. But those don't count. Those are okay. It's just violent crimes that we really want to.
I should have pulled up that video that was released last year during the campaigning season of that Deport Racism little commercial that was put online. Did you see that? The Hispanic kids that were like, Donald Trump, and like saying the F word and cursing him out.
Hola, Donald Trump! Screaming, get out of my country! Republicans use offensive words.
So here's a few of our own.
F*** you, racist.
I'm Rosa.
I'm Ricardo. My friends call me Rick. But you keep calling me Anchor, baby?
Wow. Racist dick?
Yo, Trump, you may be high in the polls.
Thanks to tainted racist suckers, but you're all going to have to come from me.
If you try to deport my abuelita, motherfuckers. You see, the Constitution makes me a citizen.
And you hate that because I'm brown.
This is my home.
You can't take my rights away.
If you don't like our Constitution and what it stands for, get the out of my country.
That's the kind of, it's like a 9-year-old or younger. I'm like, that's actually kind of the kid I don't want here. Like, get him the hell out of here.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're putting these words in this kid's mouth. First of all, you're a horrible adult for filming this kid and making him curse out Donald Trump.
Yeah, right.
Anyone. I don't care who he was cursing at. You're a horrible human being. Yep. That's all there is to it. Number 2, the kid is obviously in that type of environment a little way too much if it so easily flows out of his mouth like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I hope they find him and deport his ass. Okay, so where were we here? Actually, so this is a really interesting one too. Matt Walsh, who's a blogger who's gotten a lot of fame, he actually kind of looked like him.
Good looking guy.
Oh man. So do you want to read this? No.
Yeah, right.
He actually responded to this kind of hypocrisy with an op-ed piece on The Blaze this week. And his article headline was, "Please don't complain about deporting children if you support murdering them."
Hard to argue that.
It was a
Smart guy,
perfect
too.
point. Yeah. So among his points are the arguments for the DACA program that include, you can't punish a child for the sins of the parents. They're already here. They should be allowed to stay. And this is cruel.
Yeah.
So I find this ironic because these are these exact same arguments that we use as pro-life arguments.
Yeah.
Right? Which is, okay, you can't punish a child for the sins of the parents. Well, the pro-choice argument is whether or not to have sex in the first place and use protection.
Yeah.
That's a secondary choice. Are you going to have sex? Yes. Okay. Are you going to use protection? Yes or no? Okay. Now you have a baby involved. You're kind of out of your choices at that point, as far as I'm concerned. But, okay, let's go with the DACA argument. You can't punish a child for the sins of the parents.
Right.
Well, let the kid live.
Yeah.
You know, the baby in this case. They're already here. They should be allowed to stay.
They're there.
They're there.
Whether it's a clump of cells
exactly.
or a clump of cells with a face.
Yeah.
They're all still a clump of cells.
This is cruel. Have you taken a look at how abortions are performed?
Yeah.
They're pulled limb by limb.
Yep. Eyeballs falling out.
Yeah, cutting yourself on the skull if you're one of these nurses that have such a horrible freaking life.
Yeah.
Anyway, he made a lot of good points. I'm not going to go into his whole article because I think you should read it. You can actually read his entire argument on The Blaze by searching for his article. Any more on that stuff before I go on?
I think you covered it, yeah.
Okay. I thought the immigrant conversation was actually really good. So now, I have a friend who wanted me... Or actually, you know what? I brought this up with a friend. I wanted to do this for her and the organization because I believe in it so much. To combat this narrative of all this stuff that we were just talking about, killing the unborn, and the fact that we have a large portion of our society that actively advocates for, donates to, and supports organizations like Planned Parenthood, even to the point where our taxpayer money is unwillingly funneled directly into their pockets, I actually have a light of hope right here in the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania. An organization called Bright Hope Pregnancy Support Center honors life and offers hope by providing pregnancy support services, resources, and life skills, educating to women, men, and youth. They have locations in Allentown, Easton, and Bethlehem, and have provided services to thousands throughout the entire Lehigh Valley. They provide pregnancy testing, ultrasounds, STD education, maternity apartments, pregnancy information, and post-abortive counseling and education. They give hope to those who feel that they have no options. Each year, Bright Hope Pregnancy Support Centers actually host a Gala of Hope to raise funds to support their organization. They rely fully on donations because they receive absolutely no funding from the government, unlike Planned Parenthood, and do not charge for their services, which I find personally incredible, because when you actually think about the pro-Planned Parenthood argument that they can't get these services anywhere else, and here it is that they don't even charge for it.
Yeah.
Right? They're helping women, and they are saying men and children too, right? This year, their gala is actually being held at the end of this month on Friday, September 22nd, from 5:30 to 9 o'clock at the Palace in Allentown, PA. The speaker this year is artist Michael Card. This will be the second year that they feature a silent auction, and the auction features some of the best businesses in the Lehigh Valley at a fraction of the cost. Restaurants like Edge, Blue, and Come, the Bayou, and Henry's Salt of the Sea will be featured, as well as antiques, movie tickets, Iron Pigs tickets, if you're a baseball fan, and going to those. Last time I was there, I got hit by a tornado nearby, basically. Clay shooting, a photo shoot, and a vacation home near Rehoboth Beach this year. This is the perfect opportunity to support a great cause and enjoy some of the highlights of the Lehigh Valley with over 30 auctioned off items. So if you're actually interested in attending the Gala of Hope, or I would imagine if you're not in the area, they probably take donations too in some way. You're freaking me out because you really do look like Matt Walsh, a little bit heavier, but but he's a skinny bastard. So
Hey, I'm like down like 20, so I'm just fine. Thanks.
Down with the sickness. First of all, I believe they would probably just take donations to this place. I would imagine, because they need this, right? But if you're interested in actually attending the Gala of Hope, please contact Rebecca Perry at development@brighthopecenters.org, or you can actually go to brighthopecenters.org/event/gala-of-hope. I would actually just recommend you go to the brighthopecenters.org and find your way through there and sign up. You can also find out more about the organization and their donors to the Bright Hope Center Facebook page. So here's what I have to say. Kind of like the Mercury One stuff. Go to that Facebook page, like it, share it, get as many people as you know that are of like minds to, donate to this cause. Attend the event if they're here in the Lehigh Valley or in the surrounding tri-state area. If they're passionate about it, if it's on their heart and everything, make donations to this place, because this is a place that's helping out people that otherwise are being pushed, in most cases, in an uneducated way towards these Planned Parenthood centers where the profit in the business is actually abortions, right? So they're going to try to if you're looking for answers on things, that's typically the answer that you're going to get pushed towards, because that's where their profit is, So let's actually try to help some women that are looking for answers on this kind of stuff. Go to Bright Hope Centers on Facebook, like their page, share it, get involved, and try to donate to the cause.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so let's head over for some fun celebrity news. According to the Daily Wire, anti-Trump actress Alyssa Milano got slammed for a tasteless National Prayer Day tweet. On September 2nd, President Trump tweeted, "Remember, Sunday is National Prayer Day," by presidential proclamation, which is a direct response to the situation unfolding in Houston, Texas, in the wake of Hurricane Harvey. So after Hurricane Harvey, he got together and made it like a National Prayer Day, officially, right?
Yeah.
Well, what show was she on back in the day?
Who's the Boss?
Who's the Boss? That's right. And who wasn't in love with her? I mean, we were at that age, so we're okay,
Even still now.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to throw some duct tape over her mouth.
Oh, my God. Anyway, actress Alyssa Milano responded the next day to the president's tweet with, "Remember, Sunday is National A-Hole Day," by presidential proclamation. Many users on Twitter actually pointed out that President Trump actually said nothing divisive or hateful that would warrant such a response. What is so wrong with prayer? You know what I mean? No matter who suggested it. And one Twitter user stated, this is the best, "Remember, every day is a virtue signal day for @Alyssa Milano. No presidential proclamation needed."
Yeah, God.
So this is kind of an ongoing trend. I mean, we see it with all the Avengers, including Joss Whedon or Joss Whedon or whatever the hell is.
Now even Star-Lord's ship is chiming in.
Yeah,
the Milano.
Oh,
named after because he had a crush on her. When,
did he?
Yeah, that's why he named the ship Milano.
Man.
Yep. So yeah.
Did you see the news, by the way, that is it Joss or Haas?
Joss.
Joss. Okay. So did you see the news the other day that the official longest running Joss Whedon fan page shut down.
No, really?
Do you know why?
Because of all this stuff going on with his political viewpoints? Or it was his ex-wife?
His wife.
His wife, yeah.
Like, he was abusive to her and stuff. So
yeah, the guy who's like all
pick your battles.
Women, like
he's
known for
hypocrite.
he's known for putting strong female characters in his shows.
Yeah,
and
characters that if he was married to them would kick his ass.
Yeah.
For what he does to his wife.
Yeah,
you know.
So that's pretty.
Yeah, they shut down because they found out, they saw a letter that his ex-wife released on his abusive nature. And
I mean, if he's glad his mom's dead, what does he do to his wife?
Oh yeah,
he's alive.
Yeah, I mean, in case you don't know, basically, was it right after the election?
Yeah. It was Mother's Day or something. It was on Mother's Day.
That's right. I'm glad my mother's not around to see Trump in office.
Yeah.
And
then all these people whose moms have passed away, unfortunately, are like, listen, dude, I don't care who's president. I'd do anything for another day with my mom. Not heartless Haas.
But hey, pick out who you align yourself with, you know? You're going to love this. I got a little surprise in here for you.
Oh, okay.
In other celebrity and athlete news, the real question right now on everyone's mind is how the heck are we going to... First of all, we're dealing with hurricanes, wildfires, earthquakes, the Patriots losing. And in the back of our... We just got done, like... It somehow left the news. We're still dealing with North Korea here.
Yeah, I know.
Okay? I mean, like, we're dealing with everything right now.
Yeah.
I have to say, as much of I'm not a fan of Trump, he's handling everything really damn well.
Yeah.
His response to Hurricane Harvey and his preparation for Hurricane Irma tops that of Bush for Katrina and Obama for Sandy.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
He has things under precision control. Granted, Texans are taking things into their own hands, which is fantastic to see.
It's Texas.
And the country's coming down to them to help out, which is really what should be happening. Mm-hmm. But the governmental response has been spot. I don't have anything to complain about.
Yeah.
And really, if you're, I think 41% of the country by a recent poll agree that President Trump has responded to Hurricane Harvey in a good way. Mm-hmm. 18% of people believe he has not responded in a good way. So of those 18% of people...
It's the people that just hate Trump no matter what.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't point out anything that he's done wrong.
Yep.
Because I certainly can't, right? And I criticize the guy all the time.
Yeah, sure.
It's exactly like you said. The only thing that they can point out is I effing hate Trump. So no matter what he does, I just am going to disagree with it.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if they had said, if the poll had said, do you feel that President Obama's response to Hurricane Harvey has been right? Oh yeah. Yeah. They don't even care. They saw Obama. And do you approve? Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly what it comes down to. So anyway, listen, we have everything going on, and everybody's wondering, how the heck are we going to deal with North Korea, right? Well, enter professional basketball player and moonlight diplomat, Dennis Rodman. So Rodman actually appeared on Good Morning Britain on Wednesday, speaking with Piers Morgan and his co-host. So let's take a look at his response about his friendship with Kim Jong-un and how we can ease tensions.
You've spent a lot of time with Kim Jong-un. Is he mad? Is he stupid? How would you describe him as a human being?
It's amazing how we became such good friends with Russia all of a sudden with Donald Trump. And for years and years, over the course of time, we became such a good, have a great relationship with Russia all of a sudden in America. But for some reason with North Korea, we have a big issue. And for me to go over there to see him as much as I have, I basically hang out with him all the time. We laugh, we sing karaoke, we do a lot of cool things together. And we ride horses, we hang out, we go skiing. And we hardly ever talk politics. And that's the good thing about that. To me, I think if the president even tries to reach out for Kim, I think it would be a great possibility things can happen. If Donald Trump, they can sit down and have some type of mutual conversation. It don't have to be like a friendship conversation, just a mutual conversation saying, hi, I would love to, engage in in some words in politics and over the history of your country and my country, and just try to start some dialogue. I think that'll open maybe the door just a little bit.
Okay. First of all, he starts off the whole conversation with trying to sidebar the conversation into a Russia conversation, right? Which is that I don't know about our relationship with North Korea and why it's so bad. I mean, suddenly we're friends with Russia.
So why can't that happen?
Yeah,
North Korea?
I think he was trying to like backhandedly go after Trump there.
Yeah,
which I find a little surprising because it seems to me like he's a real fan of Ivanka and Melania's clothing line, because he was wearing a very gold glittery piece that seemed to be from one of their clothing lines. But here we have him talking about they go horseback riding together,
karaoke,
golf. But of course, we kind of know
they basically go on middle school dates, all the time.
But we already
middle school date idea. That's what Rodman and Kim did.
We already know what their karaoke would look like, though, right?
Dave, sometimes I feel like a plastic bag.
Drifting through the wind?
Wanting to start again.
Oh. As you shoot across the sky.
Oh, good times.
Yeah.
That movie is so funny. It's so funny.
Oh, man. But yeah, that's the best comment is the middle school dating. Oh, my gosh. Well, yeah, he's talking about opening up a conversation with Kim Jong-un, and the Piers Morgan and this co-host actually ripped into him quite a bit in the later portions of the interview and everything. And they were pointing out, like, this guy, what is your actual opinion on his politics? Because from satellite imagery, you can actually see the concentration camps that this guy runs. And he's like, I
don't talk politics.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
sing karaoke. We ride horses. Who wouldn't love to ride horses?
Oh, my word.
We have a great time. I don't know about any concentration camps, but he's got some great tennis courts.
Yeah. It's a lot of concrete basketball areas that no one uses because you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
And we just have fun dribbling the ball back and forth. Oh, boy.
Man. Did you ever see that documentary of him going over there, like on HBO or something?
No.
It's pretty...
I was told that there's a documentary on Netflix of a reporter that got footage of North Korea.
Yeah, inside of North Korea. It's crazy.
Is that what it's called?
No. He got footage inside of North Korea.
I got to find out which one that is and everything and watch it because I heard
it really is fascinating. Like, just how everything about their culture is run by the government. Mm-hmm. Everything. The websites you can have access to.
If you're allowed to have any access.
The three websites you get access to. The channels.
Gulag.
The
Gulag search.
Yeah. Gulag. Yeah. They get like 3 channels and they're all state-run channels. Like everything is just filtered, and I mean it's something out of like a dystopian teen movie, like The Hunger Games or something like that. Like,
there's professionals that have studied this culture over there and everything. That it's almost like Islam, right? Where the political environment is actually their religion, right? Yeah. So he's actually seen as like a deity, like a Jesus figure. Yeah, and that's why that Bibles aren't allowed in the country because it completely convolutes that whole theory that they believe.
It doesn't like competition.
And it's crazy because from my understanding, a lot of North Korean people don't even realize that they know North Korea, but any other country is just referred to as another country. They don't know any other country's names or anything. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and their elections. I mean, like 100% of the people vote for him. I mean, we talk about like libertarians and Green Party not having a chance. Like they have a massive chance compared to the one other guy running against. Like he has. When you talk about no chance, that guy has no chance. Because you vote.
We'll let you run.
You're gone. Oh man, it's crazy. And then all the things that I saw a YouTube video. There's this YouTube channel called Watch Mojo. I don't know if you ever heard it. They do top 10 lists of everything, TV shows, top 10 scary movies, whatever, all stuff. But they did top 10 crazy facts about North Korea, and it was mostly about Kim Jong Il and Kim Jong Un and the things that they take credit for.
Yeah,
inventing the hamburger. Right? Becoming a fashion icon.
Okay, well,
in those outfits.
I would say hairstyle icon too.
And also their prowess in athletics.
Yeah.
It was either Kim Jong Il or Kim Jong Un once shot the perfect round of golf with
he always
9 holes in one.
Yeah.
There's only 4 par 3s or 6 par 3s in a course, so he's getting holes in one on par 4s and par 5s.
Oh my gosh!
It's insanity. It's some kind of alternate universe, twisted dimension, just North Korea. It is crazy to think that this guy has nukes.
And he just set off a hydrogen bomb underground. And it was felt down in China.
Oh my God!
which is kicked things up a notch as far as the tensions with everything. He was launching ICBMs over Japan.
Yeah.
You have to figure on the projectile on where it's going to land, but you got to figure that stuff out pretty quickly because you're is it just going to stop and come down?
And you're just looking.
Yeah.
There's missiles going over here.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my God! It's so terrifying because you really do feel like this guy is so crazy.
Yeah, but he's not. He's not crazy.
Yeah.
His process is crazy.
Yeah.
But he's not crazy. He's just an evil person.
Yeah.
He's an evil person.
He could decide at any time, you know what? All right, we're gonna hit something today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna hit something today. Whether it's Japan or Guam or Seattle.
Of course, if you're Harry Johnson, is it the senator?
No.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
I'm going to throw it into the YouTube video when I do it because I don't have it pulled up right now. But he was asking a military commander, right, in a Senate hearing. He's like, my concern is that we have so many troops in Guam right now. And the island's this many miles by this many miles, correct? And the commander's like, yes, sir, that's, we have this many troops approximately. He's like, my concern is that if we have too many people of our troops on one side of the island, that it could capsize.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious.
Oh my God.
I will throw that video in there because I just had a discussion with one of my clients. I started cracking up. She's like, that can't be real. That can't be real. I pulled up on my phone. This older woman was laughing so hard I thought I was going to give her a damn heart attack.
An island will capsize?
No. Capsize. And this guy keeps on getting elected. I don't know if he's still Hank Johnson. It's Hank Johnson. And I don't know if he's still in the Senate or not, but he actually did say that. And I'm going to throw that video in there because it is one of the classics of politics.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that.
So,
oh man.
Speaking of people who shouldn't be in politics, Hillary Clinton's new memoir called "What Happened."
I mean, this is a joke, right?
Did you see President Trump's tweet?
I happened.
Yeah.
So great. This is I could not believe when I heard that she had a book coming out called "What Happened."
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke.
No.
This is unreal.
And it's even worse than that because Democrats are pissed.
Oh
yeah,
she
will just not go away.
Well, did you see? I normally avoid Stephen Colbert like the plague, but I did watch.
I don't give him viewership.
Yeah, it's I can't stand it.
Every time I criticize his video clips, part of my monetization on my YouTube goes to the CBS.
Yeah, so that's,
so why am I going to help pay for his?
Yeah, but I did watch today. Actually, he had Bernie Sanders on, and he literally threw up Bernie Sanders. He's like, "Listen, and we're going to talk about it. You know, what was in her book
about
him."
Yep.
And he had a pretty good response, basically.
Oh,
He's trying to, like, basically looking past, like, we don't want to look back at 2016. We want to move forward, but, it's basically
MSNBC
like
taglines.
He's just, how can she, she wears the pantsuits, but now we know she has the balls. To say that he ruined her chances. There was, are you serious? Debbie Wasserman Schultz,
there is
anybody?
evidence of her colluding with the DNC to push him out.
And she has the balls to say he screwed her. He didn't run a dirty campaign. As much as we disagree,
he's honest.
Yeah, as much as I disagree with Bernie Sanders on so many of his policies, I will say
every single
thing. I will say he is honest. Like, I believe he believes what he's saying.
Yeah.
And he's probably one of the most crooked people from the most crooked family in politics is blaming him for her.
Well, let's not forget his wife and daughter in their Burlington College incident. So he's pretty crooked in his family too.
Yeah. So.
But the Clintons.
Oh, they don't hold a candle to the Clintons.
I just actually heard today that that all the living presidents right now, so Trump, Obama, both the Bushes, and Clinton, and Carter. Maybe it's 6.
Mm-hmm.
Carter's not dead yet, right?
I don't think so.
Shucks. I think it's 6 then that are involved in getting together and raising money for a charity for Houston, right? And all I thought immediately when I heard that was, cool. Second thought, don't have the Clintons involved because the Clinton Foundation screwed over the charitable causes and actually used it for personal gain. That is literally what they did. I think it was like 10% actually went towards charitable causes. The rest went back into their pockets and campaign contributions, pay for play things with other countries and everything. I mean, like, I would keep Bill on the circuit speaking for the cause. Keep him away. Don't give him the PIN code to the account. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. But just to have a book called What Happened, I mean, could you wallow in your own self-misery for how long are you going to
It is a constantly ongoing pity party for her. You know what I mean? So anyway, according to the Daily Mail, after a report on Clinton's criticism of Bernie Sanders, who isn't ruling out another run in 2020, Representative Jared Huffman wrote on Twitter, "Please, Hillary, don't go there. I supported you. Bernie showed restraint and class and ran aspirational campaign. Politics is rough sometimes." He also added, "She's got every right to tell her story. Who am I to say she shouldn't or how she should tell it? But it is difficult for some of us, even like myself, who've supported her, to play out all these media cycles about the blame game and the excuses." This is the best part. One unnamed Clinton surrogate and fundraiser told The Hill, "The best thing she could do is disappear. She's doing harm to all of us because of her own selfishness. Honestly, I wish she'd just shut the F up and go away." Well, we've been kind of saying that since the 90s.
Right.
You know?
The other thing, too, that I feel like is nobody's really talking about is when you see someone, whether it's in sports or in politics or whatever, when you see how someone handles a loss, I feel like you're given a glimpse at what they would have been like as a winner or how they would be as a leader. She's just awful.
Well, first of all, she was at the Jacob Javits Center for her celebration. That never came. And refused to come out of her room and face
her supporters.
All the supporters that gathered there, right? And
all her voters. All the people that voted, watching on TV, everything. Like, she just...
And there's also reports that she trashed that hotel room. Right?
80s hairband style.
Yeah.
All the furniture's glued to the ceiling.
except it was because the fire of hell came up from underneath her and it just fused the furniture to the ceiling. Oh, man. So Senator John McCain actually jumped in, too, a friend of Clinton's who also ran for president. And he said, "I respect and admire and am a friend of Hillary's. But with these kind of things that happen in life, you've got to move on. You've got to quickly move on." Friend.
Yeah.
which explains a hell of a lot when it comes to John McCain. Yeah. Clinton has added another name to her long list of grievances about those who cost her the election, this time singling out energized... This is the best. This is the best thing. She singled out energized anti-Trump women marchers for failing to deliver before her historic loss. Clinton referenced the throngs of protesters who took to the streets of Washington and other cities in the Women's March shortly after his election, but her thoughts moved from the calls of resistance to Trump agenda to why they hadn't summoned that same passion for her own campaign. So
someone be more self-involved. Like everything is about her. Oh my god.
Take that, you feminists.
Yeah.
Where the heck were you for Hillary?
Yeah. You
should have done more for Her Majesty. So another passage in the book reveals how former you can't make this stuff up. It's so bad. Another passage reveals how former President Obama, still in many ways the leading figure in the Democratic Party, gave her bad advice the night before the election. His bad advice was, "You've got this. I'm so proud of you." What a bastard.
Oh man, she really was hit blindside. I would have given anything to be a fly on the wall in that room.
At least a surveillance camera. I think flies would have been
There's gotta be
subject to
footage.
getting hit by something.
Yeah. Just turned into a monster. Just Hulk
man.
out.
Yeah. That got you. Where's those pantsuits? Pulling a Bruce Banner. So Clinton makes efforts to understand her loss in her book, accepting some blame, even while pointing the finger at others among the list, including her rival Bernie Sanders, and actually going after former FBI Director James Comey for shivving her.
Yeah.
Shivving. I like it. Shivving is this prison type talk. She must be anticipating the end, ending up there for all the scandals and lies.
Yeah.
So she's getting used to the prison language.
Subconsciously, she recognizes her own criminality.
Orange is the new black.
Yeah.
They just had 2 seasons ago. I don't think I've watched the most recent season, but like some celebrity chef or something like that, blonde woman, go into that jail. She should be on the show. It actually should be a reality show of her going in.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Oh my god.
Hillary, you may not have given us the presidency, but you give us laughs.
Yeah. I kind of like want to read her book.
No way.
I just want to, it's like, you know how we've said before, at least for me, if I'm ever having a bad day, I love going back and watching videos of the election night, you know, everyone anticipating the win and then realizing the reality that was about to happen. I feel like her book is a book of that from her perspective.
Yeah, and then the people, her supporters, like that one woman who made the art display of the confetti that she gathered that never released from the broken glass ceiling of the Jacob Javits Center.
I heard too that like her first book signing stops. We're gonna be like Michigan and Wisconsin. Really, Hillary? Really?
It's going to be I think it's going to be a failure. Like,
oh my god!
Okay, first of all, Democrats are saying just shut the f up.
Yeah.
You know, and then on top of that, like, who wants to read a pity party, blame, excuse game?
Yeah.
Not even her supporters want to read that.
No. Oh god.
Oh my word.
It's hilarious.
Okay, so this is actually one of my favorite stories.
Man, we're topping Hillary.
No, yeah, in a good way, though. So we'll move on to a politician that actually seems to be doing the right things and is a stark contrast to the muddy, murky, dark, and evil embodiment that is Hillary Clinton hulking out. In a room. Bill, where are you? He's next door in another hotel room. We won't go there. So according to she's banging on the walls. He's banging on the walls. Completely different things. Furniture everywhere. Oh my word. Okay, anyway, so according to the Washington Post, Republican Mayor Richard Berry was driving around Albuquerque last year when he saw a man on the street corner holding a sign that read, "Want a job, anything helps." Seeing that sign gave Berry an idea. Instead of asking them, many of whom feel dispirited, to go out looking for work, the city would bring the work to them. So the next month, this year, will actually be the first anniversary of Albuquerque's There's a Better Way program, which hires panhandlers for day jobs beautifying the city. In partnership with a local nonprofit that serves the homeless population, a van is dispatched around the city by the city to pick up panhandlers who are interested in working. The job actually pays $9 an hour, which is above minimum wage, and provides a lunch to these guys or women that are panhandling as well. At the end of the shift, the participants are offered overnight shelter as needed. Like, if you're looking for... Here's the thing. This kind of goes off on a shoot like our discussion on immigrants and everything. There's always simple... there's always the simplest solutions are the most dramatic, right? Mm-hmm. So, the left... You look at places like San Francisco... and like bastions of liberalism, right?
Yeah.
It's my understanding, and I won't go there, that San Francisco in most areas smells like piss because of the amount of homeless people that are there that are literally pissing in the street and stuff like that, And for a liberal city and an extremely liberal state to not be taking care of the people that they say should be taken care of is a blatant display of hypocrisy, right?
And it's also, they want to keep people that are down to brainwash them into thinking that we're their party. Yeah. So keep voting for us. Yeah. We're going to help you, but we're really never going to help you.
That's down a slightly conspiratorial road, but I agree with you. Yeah. I'm going to blame Bernie Sanders because he's obviously the easy target to blame. Yeah. But, so the obvious, the left would say that we need to tax people more in these cities where there's massive populations of homeless people, because the solution for the left is always to tax people more and just give them money, right?
Yeah.
The right solution is seemingly always like do something about them. Whatever that is. Sometimes it's a bad thing, like getting them out of the city. Yeah. Those are the easy solutions that are not necessarily good in any way. Because let's go over each one. If you kick them out of the city on the right view, what is that doing for them? You're just putting a homeless person in a new homeless place, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's the only solution that the right comes up with. I really can't think of what it would be. But when you're thinking about the left solution on taxing the citizens more to support these people and just throwing money at the situation, throwing money at situations never pans out to anything good.
Yeah.
What you then have is homeless people using that money for nefarious purposes.
Yeah.
And still being homeless, right?
Yeah. Or even not really. I could also see not for nefarious purposes, maybe using it for food or whatever, but getting reinforced the idea that, hey, not working pays.
Yes. Okay. Great point. And I was gonna go back on my statement a little bit, because not every homeless person is going to use it for nefarious purposes, but there is going to be always a percentage that does. And the thing is always booze and alcohol or cigarettes and stuff like that, or drugs. Yeah. Which is why a lot of them ended up there. So you're creating a cycle.
Yeah.
But here you're giving them a purpose, and with that purpose comes a higher than minimum wage job, and at the end of the day they're giving them shelter, or at least offering it as well,
and
right?
Food with lunch. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is
transportation with the van. Exactly everything they need.
So this is a great example of everything that is right, helping others in need, giving them a purpose, giving them a job, the ability to pay them, and hopefully leading them down a more financially stable path, right? In less than a year since its start, the program has given out 932 jobs, clearing 69,601 pounds of litter and weeds from 196 city blocks, and more than 100 people have been connected to permanent employment. Barry's effort is a shift from the movement across the country to criminalize panhandling, and a recent National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty report found a noticeable increase, with 24% of cities banning it altogether and 76% banning it in particular areas, which just goes to show that we need more creative thinking instead of people just saying no to things, right? Which is what the Republicans are known for, the party of no. Right? Or actually, to be honest with you, it's the opposite of whatever party's in power. It's always a party of no. Right? The There's a Better Way van employs about 10 workers a day, but could easily take more. When the van fills, people have begged to get on a spot on next time, and that's why the city has increased funding for the program to expand it from 2 to 4 days a week. And it inspired St. Martin's to start its own day labor program, connecting the jobless to employers in the area who could offer side jobs. Dozens of cities around the country have reached out to Barry wanting to copy the program, and it's a testament, he said, to the work mayors to the work mayors do regardless of political party, right? Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, this is something that you could be doing that has no political affiliation, just to help people out.
Yeah,
and helps the city. In the meantime as well. So I think it's an awesome and inspirational story of doing something creatively. You know, that's what it always takes. Yes,
and productively. It's not something that's just to further your own political career or to appease to lobbyists or anything like that. This is someone that's actually doing something for his city and the people in his city that's productive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into some miscellaneous topics. So the Daily Mail is reporting that an artificial intelligence system can guess your sexuality preferences with 91% accuracy just by looking at a photo of your face. So. Oh, man.
I will not be the guinea pig.
What was that? What was that movie? Would you like to play a game?
Yeah, Saul.
No. The old movie. Was it where the kids in the computer system in the war games? And
Tron?
No.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, here's the interesting part of this whole conversation. It's not even the fact of what they claim this computer can do. It's the backlash that's coming along with it, right? Which critics say that the software could be used to out men and women currently in the closet. Google search results show that the term is my husband gay is more common than is my husband having an affair or is my husband depressed. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. That's what's on.
Is my husband gay? Here's a photo of him. Let's check it out. Analyze this. To train their computer, the researchers downloaded over 130,000 different images of over 36,000 individual men's faces and 170,000 images of 38,000 women from a U.S. dating website. The users had all declared their sexuality on their profiles, and removing images which were not clear enough, they were left with even numbers of 35,326 pictures of 14,776 people, gay and straight, male and female. Digitally scanning contours of the face, cheekbones, nose, and chin, the computer made hosts of measurements of the ratios between the different facial features. It then logged which ones were more likely to appear in gay people than straight people, and once the patterns associated with homosexuality were learnt, the system was shown faces it had not been shown before. The system was tested by showing it a picture of two men, one gay and one straight. When shown 5 photos of each man, it correctly selected reflected the man's sexuality 91% of the time. The model performed worse with women, telling gay and straight apart with only 71% accuracy after looking at one photo and 83% accuracy after 5.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts on that?
Like, this is what
Elon Musk is warning us
Yeah.
about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So-
And the you know, the geniuses creating this stuff, this is what they're spending their brain power on. Like, you know.
Can we determine? But at the same time, the same people that are probably promoting this are saying that everybody is the same and don't assume anything.
Yeah.
And what's the difference between a gay and a straight person? You wouldn't be anything except for sexual preference. Well, apparently there's features that tell you apart and everything too. So that's just a little crazy to me.
It's nuts.
Okay, so now that we've figured out that artificial intelligence can figure out if you're gay or not, we can focus on more important things, like finding out if you're a different race than what you were born as. So according to the Daily Mail, a blonde, pale, Georgia teenager.
Blonde, pale.
Georgia teenager has prompted fury online after publicly claiming that she is actually black in a series of bizarre videos that see her appropriating African American culture. Victoria Waldrop, a 17 who is known online as Whoa Vicky, claims that Vicky claims that a DNA test proved that she said what she says she has always believed, that even though she has dirty blonde hair and pale skin, she is actually black, not white. Since then, this trust me, this article gets better and better the more you read on.
Please tell me you have video clip.
Hey you guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to slay a black girl like mine's edges. As you can see right now, my natural curly hair is braided. And you know, you need to take very good care of natural curly hair. You got to deep condition and all that. But right now I have it braided, so my curls, you can't see them. But you get this Eco Gel. And this is a major step in taking care of natural curly hair, because you always want to make sure your hair is slayed and laid like mine is right now. Today I'm going to be teaching y'all how to twerk from a professional. Usually I would cost people for this kind of classes. I'm going to just do it for free, because since like I'm being very generous right now, so y'all better like appreciate this. And so first, you push your back out like that, and then you put your hands like this on your knees, and you go like that. Now I'm going to teach y'all how to whine. You put your hands above your head like this, and you go like that. So get that down first, like move your hips like that, and then go to the side, and then go to the side, and keep going to the side, like that.
I want to see the Whoa Vicky.
Well, I'm going to throw her picture.
Sounds like a 90s sitcom.
Oh, it's worse.
Vicky.
Yeah. Whoa, Vicky.
White as hell. She's black.
So since then, the Atlanta, Georgia native has taken regularly posting pictures and videos online, speaking in urban accent, repeatedly saying the N-word, and embracing what she sees as black culture. Wearing grills, of course.
Oh, God.
Do-rags.
Okay.
Gets better. Shower caps. Over her very straight hair.
Yeah.
And twerking and fighting, of course.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's what black people do, right? I mean,
according to her.
According to her. Yeah, and she would
We
know.
don't assume.
Yeah, no.
This is not our...
I still haven't put it out there.
This is not our opinion.
No.
Or preconception.
This
according
is
to Whoa Vicky.
This is what this white black person said.
Yeah.
So the teen seems to revel in the attention she's getting and keeps sharing content about her race, including a video where she tells followers that they are racist as F for not accepting her self-identification. Wait a minute. I may actually agree with her here, because aren't we allowed to identify as whatever we want now without judgment from others?
That's what I was thinking. Well, Vicky's got a point.
Can't they just accept that she's black and move on?
Yeah. You know?
That's what she identifies as.
Yeah, what you identify as is what you are.
I don't know why people
No
would be
one
taking
else-
her to task on
Yeah,
this.
no one else can say what she identifies as.
So she says, "How are you going to sit here and tell me what race I am?" Well, unless they're blind. If I say I'm black, then I'm black, she said, before posting a screenshot of what she claimed to be the DNA results, which said her ethnicity estimate was 45% African and 54% European. It's unclear why she first said that she was 25% black and showed a test that said something else. But despite the backlash, she has started a career out of saying she's black on her social media accounts, posting videos on YouTube like a makeup tutorial for black women, promoting products, and making herself available for paid appearances. So, can I just say that I freaking love this story for all the wrong reasons?
Yeah.
This is like, when they say comedy that writes itself,
Yeah.
this is what they're talking about
Whoa,
right
Vicky.
here. Yeah. Whoa, Vicky. What do you think about this makeup for black women? Come on. You gotta have an opinion.
I wish someone would make like a YouTube video of making it a sitcom. Movie with laugh
I
track,
don't have
with a
enough
laugh
time.
track and
I don't
everything.
have enough time because I would. I love that story. It just
Oh,
gets
man.
worse and worse the more you read it. You're like, okay. It's a white girl that thinks she's black. We have Rachel Dosniello out in Oregon or whatever that has been the president of her NAACP chapter for how long and tans herself all the time. And then finally her parents were like, no, we're white, obviously. I mean, look at her older picture. She has freckles and stuff like that, And she's saying that she's trans race, you know what I mean?
Transracial, yeah.
Yeah. And I had the whole conversation with you about like my discussion with my liberal friend where it's okay, to be transsexual. I mean, that's like, or transgender. Yeah. And that makes sense because you can do that. But then when I said, okay, but what do you think about this Rachel character that's trans race? You're like, you can't do that.
Which doesn't even make sense. Because when you think of to go from male to female or the other way around is a lot more drastic of a change than this lady just tanning herself.
Listen, honestly, very
So how
basic
can you
science.
do
It's a matter of pigmentation in the skin, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's not every chromosome in your body.
No. Not that we're assuming or anything. No. So if we could get serious here for a second, I would like to talk about minorities in America like Victoria.
I have to see this chick. I have to.
I will.
You gotta put one clip of something, the makeup video, whatever. You gotta put something into the YouTube video.
Yeah, I'll add a couple things. Minorities in America like Victoria coming under heavy attack lately by the Trump administration, specifically the Trump administration's engineering of weather to create hurricanes to specifically seek out economically flourishing minority communities like Houston and Miami. So according to a Facebook post by Brianna Danielle, she wrote, "So they say Hurricane Irma is headed for Miami. Did y'all realize this? 70% of Miami is Latino, Hispanic, or Cuban? Double question mark.
Coincidence?
44% of the Haitian population in the U.S. resides in Miami. These are facts. Not that she says that. I'm just statistics. Miami is like Houston, in which it is, capital letters, flourishing economically. Coincidence? Question mark. Well, I should have said that. It was one as opposed to the two before. Trump wants them off our land, so what better way to flood them out? Read between the lines, people.
She said that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So she's saying that the Trump administration is literally engineering hurricanes and giving them a certain path to follow to wipe out minorities. Which, as the one Facebook poster had said, either this completely validates that Trump is a racist and has gone way overboard on this racism. Yeah. Did he switch out the dog for like a cat that he just sits there and strokes? So while this is crazy because while this may sound crazy to some, this is actually a well-known conspiracy theory, especially in the world of Jesse Ventura. Yeah. Who, if you never saw him, he actually have you ever seen his conspiracy theory show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
God bless you.
Yeah.
I was forced to sit through 2 episodes by a good friend who was like, "You have to see this stuff. Like, this is what's really happening." And I was like, what kind of friends do I have? Like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. Like, I was glazing over. I was like, you can't believe this crap. You know, and this was like Jesse Ventura was in Facebook.
Oh, so he wasn't showing you this as a joke. He actually believed that it was true.
Yeah, at the time. I think he's calmed down. He was the Alex Jones type, too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude. First of all, he was a liberal in high school, and we had, like, heated conversations all the time. And then I kept on saying, I'm like, dude, just look at the fact. Look at what I'm telling you. Research it. That's all I want you to do. Have an open mind. Just look at what I'm telling you about, like, what's happening with Bush and with Obama and everything else. And then eventually one day he came to me. He's like, I got to be honest with you. I completely switched. I want you to hear what Alex Jones said. I'm like, whoa, come back a little bit. Come back here, man. I only wanted to lead you down a partial path, not down the river. I mean, come on. So anyway, he shows me this episode of Jesse Ventura going up to, I think it was Alaska, where they believe this weather station is that creates hurricanes, right? And the premise of how Jesse Ventura does this stuff is hilarious. Yeah. He goes up and he finds a military base, right? Mm-hmm. And there's guards outside. And he stands like half a mile down the road and he's like, just so you guys know, this facility back here that's run by the government is obviously they have a big satellite in the back there, you see, and they're controlling the weather. They're making hurricanes, and they have the ability to turn the hurricanes on and turn the hurricanes off and everything. We're going to go, and we're going to go to try to go in the facility, and we're going to see what happens. Well, what the hell do you think is going to happen trying to get into a military facility with guards outside, right? So he goes up, and he's like, I'm a taxpayer in the United States, and we want to go inside and see what's going on here. And the guys are like, no, you can't go in. See, I told you, this is a weather station right here. And it's like, automatic assumption, end of story, those are the facts. Now, because they weren't allowed in there, it's like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. And this is actually what people believe, So there are actually people out there that believe this crap. And that's amazing.
Jesse Ventura found my hurricane making machine.
It's great.
I wanted to keep it a secret, but since it's out there, I just want to say that I made some hurricanes. They're the biggest hurricanes.
The greatest.
They're the greatest hurricanes. But believe me, they're the greatest hurricanes, and I'm going to wipe out all the minorities with them. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, my word. So, to end the night, I give you a parting gift. It is a story about a man, a Croatian man.
Okay.
Stylist who had more than a dozen plastic surgeries, his last of which was to correct his nose, which has left him with a unique side effect. So Croatian stylist Neven Siganovic, who's 45, and I don't have a picture of him right now. Did you look him up by chance? Mm-mm. He looks like the bastardization child of one of the Jersey Shore guys and Kim Kardashian.
Skeletor.
Kim Kardashian, and left in a cave for a couple months and is just pale. Right? And it's bad. It's real bad, especially after all these surgeries. But he was actually being filmed by a documentary crew when a reaction to an anesthetic he was given during surgery triggered an agonizing condition. So he said that I was in Iran for rhinoplasty for the documentary film, which is covering my life. And during the surgery, I was given general anesthesia, and I reacted badly to it. So according to Siganovic, it was during the surgery that he was diagnosed with Priapism.
What now?
Priapism?
Pre-apism?
Priapism?
Priapism?
I'll go with priapism.
Okay.
Priapism is an unwanted, long-lasting, and extremely painful erection that is not linked to sexual desire. If it's not treated within 24 hours, the penis can be permanently damaged, even leading to erectile dysfunction in some cases. So the reality star recovered in a hospital in Serbian capital Belgrade. Is it Belgrade?
Belgrade.
Belgrade. Okay. But said he was refused that he refused painkillers despite being in agony. So wait till you see this guy, first of all. I'm sorry I don't have a picture for you tonight. But I don't know if painkillers would be on my mind either. I can tell you that out of those 24 hours that I need to seek help, 22 of those hours might be spent doing something else. And it might not be me that needs medical treatment at the end of it. But yeah, right up to that deadline. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you have your own erectile story that you no.
What? Excuse me? No problems there.
Yeah, this guy. This actually seems to be this isn't the first time I've heard of this. Like surgeries leading to bad things like this. Like, why the hell do you do that to yourself?
I don't know. You ever see this show Botched? I think it's on E or something. Tracy watches it, and it's these two plastic surgeons that basically just take cases of people that have had messed up plastic surgeries. Or, I mean, this show
horrendous.
is a commercial against having plastic surgery.
Yeah, I bet.
In the first place.
I bet.
And these two guys, they are like, why are you doing this? Why do you want to do it? It's either something that's messed up or it's someone who's like, let's say they've already had like 4 breast implant surgeries and they want to go bigger. And it's like, they're just like, listen, no, this is not
millennials don't like this anymore.
Yeah, right. So
you got to go smaller.
Yeah.
We're butt guys now.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a crazy show. You got to check it out. I mean, most of the stuff on E, I just like, I'm like, oh god, I don't even want to watch this. Is try, but that's a show that you get sucked into, just like seeing these horror shows of just what people are doing to themselves.
Yeah.
Well, because of a poor self-image,
Yeah, and not only that, like, look, never mind. I have heard stories, like horror stories, of people getting butt injections of cement in Chinese countries.
Yeah, that's the biggest
cultures
thing. That's the biggest thing. It's like,
and it kills you.
You got a tummy tuck in in Bolivia. Like, really? What made you want to just, while you're on vacation in Bolivia, get a nose job?
What went wrong here? Well, it was in Guam and it capsized during the operation.
Yeah. Apparently there were too many people standing on one side of the
island. The nurse should have got to the other side of the room.
Yeah.
We were right on that until the end, sir. All right, so listen, we have to talk about Donald Trump this week as kind of a final topic, open discussion thing, because Donald Trump made a deal with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to raise the debt ceiling and extend the budget for 3 months, which he kind of got caught with his pants down this one, because in the past, like way in the past, before he even announced that he was running, he was upset with Republicans making deals for a 4-month extension instead of going longer and getting a bad deal with that. And he does only 3 months, like it's worse. And not only that, also at the same time, Trump was campaigning for Democrat Heidi Heitkamp in North Dakota.
Heard about this.
Yeah.
I saw a video that Ben Shapiro did on it.
Yeah. Despite being a red state that overwhelmingly supported him, over 70%, and the Republicans having the ability to squash Heitkamp and increase their numbers in the Congress. She doesn't have great support there because they're all for Trump. And what really happened here is she's saying that she will vote for his tax cuts. And the guy that's a Republican running against her wrote in a book like against Trump at one point in time. So it's like this grudge stuff that he always pulls. Like if you have slighted him in any way, he's going to do whatever he can to annihilate you.
Yeah.
You know, and everything, you know. So this week was really a team up with the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that fascinating because that is exactly what I was saying and other people were saying that were anti-Trump during the campaigning, saying that, listen, his history actually points a lot more to Democrats than it does Republicans. And our biggest fear was eventually he's just going to team up with the Democrats. But the, you know, pro-Trump people have always been like, no, absolutely not. You look at everything he's saying, he's going to give it to the Democrats like you won't believe. And then every time these things kind of happen, it's like, we kind of have these excuses on why he should be doing it anyway. Like, he's just reaching across the aisle now because he has enough support on the Republican side. Now he needs to get more support on the Democratic side so he can actually push his stuff through. Bull crap. Like, it's just excuse after excuse with these people. And listen, it's the same thing with Trump supporters as it is with Obama supporters. Like, no matter what they do, if they do something wrong, they will come up with the most asinine excuses to give these guys leniency, their fan base, that they can do no wrong. Because even the wrong things, they are not wrong. They will reach deep into their pockets for the most out of the world excuses imaginable.
Yeah.
You know, there's a master plan here. He knows what he's doing. You know, I mean, he's got it. He's great. It's the art of the deal. Trust me, something's coming down the road. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be grand. Give me a break.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when I kind of heard about this at first, you know, I always did kind of wish that like the parties would work together more. But it just does stink of that, like, you know, okay, this other guy, I don't like him, so
it's obvious.
You know, smash him.
I kind of think Trump is so brazen he would actually admit it.
Yeah.
You know, he said this about me, so I'm going to support Heidi.
Screw him. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that. It's like he definitely has this track record of takes things personally, you know? I think it was Ben Shapiro said. Did you see that video he did about all this?
No.
So he was saying, like, you know, Trump is not an ideologue, so he doesn't like basically govern himself by like a set of principles.
Oh, I listened to the podcast.
Yeah, he makes his decisions based on his emotional attachments to people, or if he feels slighted by people. You know what I mean?
Which is obviously an adult way to act.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that's like a basic, like that elementary school teacher in the first story. Whoo, she'd have some stuff to write home about.
Yeah, right.
Like little Johnny wouldn't give little Donald a piece of his candy, and now he's ruined his life. Guess who's not going to be class president?
Oh man!
So you had something that you wanted to talk about, but before we get into that, something kind of right before that, because you refused to show up on the podcast that week, I had to sit here alone and didn't want to get into a discussion on the Mayweather.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and
McGregor
fight. Yeah. So
I didn't see it.
You're right. Bull crap. What were your thoughts on the whole thing?
I thought it went pretty much how I thought it would go.
Really?
Except a little bit better. I mean, I there's a difference between the way I thought it would go and what I wanted to happen.
Okay.
I wanted McGregor to win. I wanted McGregor to knock him out in like the second or third round or something.
I wanted him to walk right up to him and
just go cockroach, just be over.
Yeah.
But I will say that McGregor did. I thought he did pretty well.
He did awesome.
I thought he won 4 rounds. 1, 2, 3. I thought he won 1, 2, and 3, and 8.
I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8.
Oh, you thought he won more than 4?
Yeah, and the group I was watching with completely disagreed with the judges' scores.
Oh, the judges' scores were awful. They were clearly trying to protect boxing.
Yes.
Boxing versus MMA thing. Like, to say that one judge had him winning only 1 round, that was ridiculous. So
Mayweather kept on doing this whole, like, ducking down so that he would intentionally, what is it called, hammer hit?
Yeah, hammer fist, it's an MMA term for a punch that kind of comes down like that.
Yeah.
And McGregor would kind of, I think just his instincts in MMA kind of took over where he'd take the back, like he'd kind of get around Mayweather and kind of grab his back, but then try to then do punches like you would do not in the kidney, but come from behind up to his chin. But in boxing, the referee breaks that up, and then resets him. So after the fight, he was saying, I was using a lot of energy and then for nothing, because it would just get reset. But the one thing that I will say is, as well as McGregor did, Mayweather looked fresh as a daisy every single round.
Ooh, I disagree with that.
See, I think
during
coming out
during the third and I would say between the third and fifth, I was like, ooh, he's on the ropes. He looks like he's about to go on the ropes. And then he came back. He had a refreshing.
Well, what I meant was, after the round ended, coming into the next round, he always looked normal.
Yes.
Like, he looked like he was just fine. I do think, like, when you hear what Mayweather said about his strategy, I believe him. I think that's what he did. He wanted to let Conor
tire himself,
punch himself out, let him go, play defensive, and then just kind of pour it on after Conor got tired.
Did you hear what McGregor said to him afterwards?
I kind of had you there. I kind of had you there.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, stuff like that. And we had a good. It was fun. It was fun.
I knew someone picked up on what he said, but I didn't hear what it was.
Yeah. So, Conor landed 111 punches, which is in 10 rounds, which is more than Manny Pacquiao did in a full 12 rounds, you know? So, and you had these boxing purists like Max Kellerman saying that he wouldn't land a punch, So it was, I thought he good. He didn't embarrass himself. He didn't embarrass MMA. It was kind of like a win-win for everybody. Like Floyd got his 50-0. Conor made the most money he's ever made and looked good.
Everyone but us.
Doing that. Yeah, right. The other thing we were talking about, Hillary being a terrible loser. There is no better loser than Conor McGregor.
I didn't hear anything afterwards.
Oh, you didn't see the post-fight press conference? And this also is, it was very evident too when he lost the first fight to Nate Diaz compared to Ronda Rousey losing to Holly Holm. Ronda Rousey was the worst loser you could buy. I mean, talk about like an implosion, weak mind, just running away from everything, not talking to anyone, crying.
What is she trying to get into now?
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's such a terrible actress. But anyway, that's a whole other story. Like, I saw the little clip she had with, like, the 3 wrestler chicks, like, anytime, anywhere. And she, like, doesn't know how to stand. And does, like...
That's why she wasn't Fast and Furious.
Just any time. Okay. Let's do it. No? Oh, okay. It's so bad. She's awful. And I don't know how people think, like, she was going to be, like, this great actress or whatever. But Conor McGregor, when he loses, he gives credit to his opponent. He says, hey, I went out there, and it's true. He did stuff that no one else had the balls to do. Go into this guy's sport. He's the best at it, and challenge him and put up a good fight. And then he analyzes, what happened and says that that's what he's going to work on. And the analysis that he has is 100% spot on, you know? So, and he also
Do you think there would be a rematch?
No, because I think Floyd's done. Because
I think he would take him.
Yeah.
Because I think he would learn from that experience.
The other thing, too, is this fight was announced 4 months before it happened. That's not a full camp. So from going to 5-minute rounds, 25 minutes to a 36-minute fight, and also in shorter intervals. If he had like a 6-month camp, he could have worked on his conditioning a lot more. Although conditioning has been his kind of weak point. Like, that's kind of what got him in the Nate Diaz fight, and almost got him in the second Nate Diaz fight too. But the other thing about Conor is he is jovial in defeat as well too. Like, in the post-fight press conference, he came out. He's like his own notorious whiskey brand that he's like coming out with, and he's like, "Yeah, it's a good fight. What's happening?" And somebody asked him a question. And he like takes a sip. He's like, "Woo, that whiskey's good." He's like, "Notorious brand coming soon."
Oh my gosh.
So he is like the epitome of how to lose well, you know? So, and that's why so many people love him. Like, I love him. I think he's great. So, it's good.
So go ahead. Let's hear your topic too.
Oh,
you're allowed to bring things.
Yeah, I just want to see if you wanted to discuss, since it's over, Game of Thrones season as a whole, or what happened? Spoilers, I guess.
Well,
season's over.
from what I understand, and this is looking ahead.
Yeah.
Next season is the last season.
Yep. 6
Although
episodes.
they did announce that there's spin-offs coming.
Oh yeah. They're developing 4 spin-offs. They're not going to film all 4. They're going to pick and choose. And 2 of them, George R. R. Martin's involved in. So I'm hoping that it's one of his because he's a genius.
And then they're saying, the rumors are that those 6 episodes that come next season will be like feature-length movies.
Longer. Probably about the same as the finale, 120 minutes to maybe a little longer.
I hope it's like 2 hours each.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, it's 120 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. You gotta give me credit. I did predict something.
Yeah.
And you actually watched the episode with me, the second last episode.
Yep.
It was the second last, with the battle on the rock out in the lake or whatever. With the White Walkers coming at them and everything. And when they raised the dragon from the dead to the White Walker clan, and the blue eyes opened up, I was shocked at first, but I was like, he's gonna have blue fire.
Yeah.
And you were like, really? Yeah, I didn't think about that. And then, boom, one of the last scenes of the season, they were just unleashed on the wall. Holy crap.
That was awesome.
It was incredible, yeah. I thought, I had never seen such tense acting as when all the different clans met up in that arena.
The Dragon Pit meeting at the beginning?
Yeah, and I was just like, I was tensed.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I was like, what's going to happen? Someone's going to let loose here.
So many actors that never acted together before. Jon Snow and other people have never even been in King's Landing, so it's Daenerys with her grand entrance on Drogon, it was crazy, and I love how she was such a bitch. You made us wait. She's like, my apologies. Whatever. took me seven seasons to get here. You can wait another 5 minutes.
A little disappointing that a lot of people were hoping that Daenerys would hook up with her nephew. And not realizing the actual facts behind all that.
Yeah.
So everybody's applauding the Jon Snow Daenerys hookup, but at the same time, that's your
creepy as hell
nephew screwing each other.
Hey, it's not brother and sister, which we're all used to. So
on that show.
On that show.
It was Cersei and
Jaime.
And Jaime,
and the other thing too is the Targaryens married brother and sister because they wanted to keep the bloodline pure, and that's why so many of them went crazy, just because of like all the incest. So one thing I was thinking was, she wasn't able to have kids anymore. They mentioned it a couple times in the episodes too. I'm wondering if with a Targaryen she would get pregnant.
So do you think?
Because they're foreshadowing that a lot. Oh, you have no heir, and Jon Snow even said, "Oh, don't believe everything you hear."
But he's actually, when you look at the lineage, he's actually the next in line to be.
Yep, he is the rightful heir to the throne. Yeah, he would. So that's the other thing. When they find out, is she just going to be like 7 years of her believing this is her birthright, and this is what she's coming to take? And when she met Jon Snow, she's like, "I will rule." You think that she's going to find out this news and just be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, all right, my bad."
After like falling for him too.
Okay, nephew. Yeah, you go ahead.
What do you think the whole Tyrion look was at the end there?
I don't think it was a love, like he loves her look. I think it was he has seen, romantic involvements damage political aspirations in the past. So
I know along the lines of what I was thinking, which is he was always looked to for political strategy, and Jon Snow is kind of like, everybody looks to him for things, so maybe he's being pushed out a little bit.
Yeah, I think that he would still be smart to not look into that too much, because Jon Snow would be a better military advisor and he would be a better political advisor. But
welcome to the Game of Thrones podcast.
Listen here, guys. So but I don't think it was any kind of like romantic like jealousy. It was just like I see this relationship not helping our cause, or getting in the way of our cause or ultimate goal.
But it seems really cool, the foreshadowing that they're doing with the team-ups.
Yeah.
Like, Jaime left. He's gone.
Well, so it's pretty much everybody's north except for
Cersei
and the Mountain and Qyburn,
That's the uncle of, what's his name?
No, Qyburn is her hand, the maester who, brought the Mountain back to life. and was totally fascinated by the dead hand of the, because he was kicked out of the Citadel and being a maester because he performed experiments on the dead or the living too to find out how the human body works. He's actually really smart, and I wouldn't be surprised if he figures something out that could help defeat the White Walkers as well. So
what do you think of the theory out there that Bran
is the Night King?
Yeah.
I think it's. I don't think it's true, but it's interesting. You know, that he's. I do think the Night King is a Stark, an ancient Stark.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that in the books?
No, it's a pretty popular theory, but I believe that because the Starks were the Northern Lords, and in that scene from last year where they created the Night King. That was a human from the north, and they said that it was rumored that he was one of the Lord Commanders of the Night's Watch and all this stuff. So I think he might be a Stark, and it would be kind of a cool way to tie.
I think I missed that. Was that the woodland creature?
Yeah, the Children of the Forest. Yeah, he was tied to the tree with a gag in, and they put a piece of dragon glass in, and his eyes turned blue, and that's the Night King.
Did they show his original human form?
Yeah,
at that time.
Yep.
Oh, so it's not Bran.
No. Yeah. Unless it's a grown-up. That's what he looked like grown up, but he was able to walk and, I don't know. There's all kinds of weird things. Like it could be an alternate, alternate reality versus reality. I think it's too
Barry Allen, what have you done?
Yeah, I know. That's not Game of Thrones.
Everything.
Yeah. So yeah, but basically next season, everyone is north fighting the White Walkers, and it's just Cersei kind of hanging out in King's Landing waiting for them to...
I think she's going to attack them from behind.
I don't know if she'd want to bring all her forces up and risk them getting caught in the wave of the dead, too, I think her plan that she laid out for Jaime is a good plan. Let them fight each other, decimate each other, and then if they win...
You lose.
Yeah. No, I mean in what she wants to do.
Yeah.
It makes more sense than her attacking from behind, because then she's also running into the army of the dead as well. 100,000,
Anything else coming up?
Show-wise? I mean, we got Thor Ragnarok coming soon.
No. When is that? That's November.
November, and so is Justice League.
I guess I'll see it.
I'm still excited.
I'm not that excited.
Yeah.
They just keep screwing things up. Yeah. Wonder Woman was good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't great.
Yeah. I don't know.
We'll see.
If it's got Batman.
Flash is going to be Flashpoint movie, right?
Yeah. So... but yeah, big movie-wise, I mean, Star Wars, Thor Ragnarok, and Justice League are the big ones still for this year.
We'll do reviews on all those.
And as far as TV, I mean, The Walking Dead comes back in
Flash,
October.
Arrow.
Yeah, it's all back in the
DC
fall.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
S.H.I.E.L.D., I think.
Yep. Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I never got into. I gotta watch it. And then did Inhumans start? Inhumans is
I got horrible reviews.
Oh, from the one that they showed in the theaters or whatever?
But are you tied up right now?
What do you mean?
Doing something with your free time?
I don't know.
No Destiny 2 for you?
Oh, yeah. But not as much, I mean, I a little bit at night, and I'm not up till 3-4 in the morning every single night.
You know what? Now that you say you were tired when you got here, now I know why.
No, that's not why. That's not why.
But you slept all day. You watched the Rubin Report.
Yeah, well, I was watching the Rubin Report all day. So, yeah.
All right. Well, listen. I appreciate everyone tuning in and watching the podcast. I want to thank Mike again for showing up. If you are interested in following along with the Generation Y Conservative, you can always find me on Facebook by searching for the Generation Y Conservative, on YouTube for the Generation Y Conservative. Like, share, subscribe, do everything.
Yep.
Especially if friends with like-minded politics and everything else, share it with
like-minded and open-minded friends as well.
Yeah, those should go hand in hand usually. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's an important thing is to share the content and everything and get people interested, because we can do more and more with things that are going on. So it's good. You can find me on Twitter by searching for @GenYConservative without the E on the end, or interact with me there. You can always tune into the live podcast and find out when we go live by getting notifications. And you can also get the audio version of the podcast Sundays on KLRN Internet Radio from 3 to 6 p.m. And they have also put the back catalog of my podcast on to iTunes if you just search for me on there as well. Again, this is Friday, September 8th, right? Yes, and, it's now Saturday. But Hurricane Irma is heading towards Florida. Pray for all those that were affected in Houston. Pray for those that are about to be affected in Florida. Pray for the people that are falling victim to all the wildfires around the country, and for the people in Mexico. I haven't heard any update on that, on the earthquake situation. It's a lot of prayers that need to go out right now. Yeah. In the meantime, thank you for joining me. Have a great night, and God bless America.